On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
The 2-1 it's lined to center field. The Blue Jays have just swept a 4-game series from the Yankees. Alone in top spot in the American League East.
Well, looks a little extra brass bonanza for you on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely, positive Friday. It is a little windy out there today, so be careful. Hey, it's still going to be a pretty nice weekend. Looks like it's clearing up. So you got some River Hawks action tonight and Saturday and then Sunday afternoon. You got the Stingers Sunday afternoon. You have the Elks later in the evening on Sunday at 5 o'clock against Ottawa. So there is lots and lots going on in the sporting world this weekend. Of course, some Jays. I'm guessing some of you maybe are jumping on board the Jays right now because they are rolling, to say the least, as they sweep the Yankees 4 straight. George Springer having himself quite the series, goes 8 for 14. Malt would have 4 home runs, close to 10 RBIs. Was unreal set for him. Lots of guys contributing, and the Jays, they are in first place. So that is great news. If you're a Jays fan, if you're a baseball fan, it's a good story. And the Yankees, of course, Independence Day in the U.S., they are playing a matinee right now against the Mets. The Jays will be facing off against the Angels later on tonight. We have a loaded show for you. Of course, we'll kick things off. Jeff Avery is going to join us, former CFLer, analyst now for the Ottawa Red Blacks. We're going to talk a little mental training in the offseason with Lorianne Munzer. We got Joe Yerdon as we'll go to Buffalo. What are the Sabres doing? What is going on in Buffalo? Bowen Byram, where is he going to end up? And are they any better? Like, God, 15 years? Oof, could be painful. Jason Awad will join us. We will talk about your opportunity to win 10 Gs. Talk a little Elks Nation, Declan Kruger. We got Craig Button, Spec, Lowetide, the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, and Wanye Gretzky will be by later on. So lots and lots going. Also, we will we'll talk. Not much happening in the NHL. There is one thing though that we are going to talk about regarding the NHL, and that was, I teased it yesterday on the show, but this is one where it is it's a very unique trend that has happened in the NHL for the last 3 seasons. Any guess what it is, Declan Kruger?
I put on the spot here. Unique trend that's happened over the last 3 seasons.
Something you wouldn't expect.
Can I get a hint? Injury related, cap related.
It involves playoffs.
Okay.
And 100 points.
A 100-point player has not won the Stanley Cup. No, that because McKinnon and. I'll roll with that.
Okay. No, good guess, but no. The correct answer is in the last 3 years. A minimum of 3 teams who had 100 points missed the playoffs the following season. So in 2022, the Calgary Flames had 111 points. The Blues had 109. The Penguins 104. Washington had 100. They all missed the playoffs in 2023. In 2023, New Jersey 112. Minnesota 103. Seattle 100. They all missed the dance in 24. In 2024, the Rangers, 114 points. Boston, Vancouver, 109. Nashville had 99. Close. And guess what? They all missed. Some of the teams dropped by anywhere from 33 points to a minimum of a 16-point drop to go from a 100-point team to a non-playoff team. 3 times each year. 1 year, there was a 99-point team. You could argue that's 4. So you think about it. Now, in 2022, 13 teams had 100 points, and 4 of them missed the playoffs the next year. Then it went down to 12. 3 of them missed the playoffs. Then it went down to 10, and 3 of them missed. I would argue that there's if we stretch it to 99 points, it would be 11 teams, and 4 of them missed it. So you're talking an average of over 31% of the 100-point teams in the last 3 years have missed the playoffs the following year. So with that trend in mind, the question I have, here's the teams who had 100 points this year: Winnipeg, Washington, Vegas, Toronto, Dallas, LA, Tampa, Colorado, and the Oilers. So if we go off of history, 2 or 3 of those teams are going to miss the postseason next year, going for 100-point teams. And I went through it, and you know what? The changes on those teams, Winnipeg signed, so far they've signed Jonathan Toews, Gustav Nyquist, Tanner Pearson. They lost Nikolai Ehlers, Mason Appleton, Rasmus Kupari. Same goaltender. They struggled in the playoffs, mainly Connor Halley. Washington has basically done very little. They've added Declan Chisholm and Justin Sordiff. They removed Dylan McElrath and Lars Eller. Those are really their big changes so far. Not much. Vegas, they've added Marner, Colton Sissons, Jeremy Lauzon, and they're without Nick Hague, Tanner Pearson, and Alex Pietrangelo, who's going to have bilateral femur reconstruction. Toronto added Nick Roy, Matthias Maccelli, and Michael Pezzetta. They're without Marner, Holmberg, Max Pacioretty. He's still unsigned. I don't think he's going to be signed. He's actually here at the Brick Tournament coaching his son this week. Dallas, they really haven't had any new players this year. Now, technically, I would look and say, well, Mikko Rantanen, he wasn't in the regular season last year for the most part, right? But their big change is being Glenn Gulletson. But they've lost Mason Marchman, Evgeny Dadonov, Mikhail Granlund, and Cody Ceci. LA, a unique offseason. They went older. Joel Armia, Corey Perry, Brian Dumoulin, Anton Forsberg, Cody Ceci. In exchange, going out, Vladislav Gavrikov, Jordan Spence, Tanner Jeannot, Trevor Lewis, Samuel Hellenius, and Dave Riddick in goal. British. Tampa Bay's, they've added Holmberg and Jacob Pelche, and they're without Luke Glendening and Cam Atkinson. So not much of trades in Tampa Bay. Colorado, now it's tough to say like what their changes are because they changed almost their whole team last year. It was crazy, right? Rantanen got dealt. Then they brought in Marty Necas for him. They did get Gabriel Landeskog back for the postseason after missing 2 full years. Brock Nelson came in at the deadline. Another deadline guy was Charlie Coyle, but him and Miles Wood got shipped to Columbus just to free up cap space. So they did add Brent Burns, but technically, Landeskog, Nelson, I would argue that, those are new for the regular season with Brent Burns. The Oilers, Mangiapane, Tomasek, Curtis Lazar. I'd argue rookie Matt Savoy. Trent Frederick only played 7 minutes, so he's a new regular season guy. Connor Brown, Corey Perry, Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner, John Klingberg gone, Evander Kane, although he didn't play in the regular season. So if you had to pick of those 9 teams, if you say 2 are going to miss the playoffs, are you confident at all in any of them? Are you concerned that the Oilers, in a trend that has been around now, like that's a pretty consistent trend because you can't go back much farther because the seasons were shorter, right? So it's hard to do. But, I'm not going to compare a 56-game season, whatever, 71. It's not the same. So you look at it, and I'm not sure there's anything to tell me, wow, there's not going to be a team. Because every year there's at least 4 to 5 playoff teams that miss. So you could add in Carolina, Florida, Ottawa, Minnesota, St. Louis. Now, the 2 bottom teams who only had 91 points, New Jersey and Montreal, hey, they could be right for the picking. Now, Montreal fans would say, hey, wait a sec. We've added maybe more than anybody in the East, so we like our team. It'll be fascinating. But if you had to pick 2 of those teams, Deck, that had 100 points last year, Jets, Capitals, Knights, Maple Leaf, Stars, Kings, Lightning, Avs, Oilers, You got to go right now, 2 or 3. Who's missing?
My first instinct, with all respect to the season they just had, great regular season, the Washington Capitals, first team that came to mind. Second was the LA Kings.
All right. And I can see Washington. The thing about the Caps, they went from 91 points. They were a playoff team. Then they improved by 20. I could see them coming back down a bit. But, man, I really like their coach. But I do think it's fair. Like last year, they had the Ovi chase, and that was emotional fuel. I don't think there's any debate on that. It gets the team, everybody's up for games. Like, oh, my God, now they just kept getting closer every time. The guy was a scoring machine. And even when he was out, they played well. Their offense did go down a bit. And that's like, if he slows down, that's my concern a little bit in Washington. They kind of had the perfect storm. Great improved offense. They scored 70 more goals last year. Almost a full goal per game from one year to the next. You're not going to do that every year, of course, because then you're going to, you're going from, hey, we're a 3-goal team to 4. Like, that's pretty tough. The other team, though, Tampa Bay Lightning. I wonder about the Lightning. They made the playoffs 8 years in a row. Hard to do. I know that the NHL says Toronto's 9, but I don't agree with that because they didn't make it. They got in the play-in round. They didn't make it to the Sweet 16, so they didn't make the playoffs in my eyes. They got in the bonus round. Same with the Oilers, right? Like they have Edmonton saying they've made 6 in a row. I would argue Edmonton's made 5 in a row because losing to Chicago wasn't a 7-game series, and it was just a play-in round. But either way, Tampa Bay, 8 years. And then Colorado is interesting to me. Like they made so many changes. Maybe it'll be easier for them, but I wonder what they're doing. Like losing Mikko Rantanen, man, like they didn't replace him. That is a big loss. Marty Necas just isn't Mikko Rantanen, especially in the playoffs. Now we're only talking regular season. So if I had to ask you, of those 3 or 9 teams, who do you feel most confident, if you had to pick 3, would miss the playoffs next year? Because it's hard to wrap your head around, Joe, this team had 111 points. But look at the drops that teams had. We're talking a 33-point drop, 29-point drop, 31-point drop, 28-point drop. Like good teams. Rangers, Boston, Vancouver. Now, it's interesting. Vancouver and the Rangers both had a lot of internal drama. So is there a team that's going to do that? I don't think so. Look at Nashville. They were a 99-point team, and they dropped 31 points to 68. And everybody thought after their 90-point season, oh, my goodness, look at it. They got Stamkos. They got Marchessault. They got Brady Shea. They're going to be awesome. That was not the case. They couldn't score. They didn't really improve their center ice position. And I'm not sure they're much better this year. Like, I see Nashville being better than 68 points. But right now, they'd be a surprise for me to get to the playoffs. So it's an interesting one to think about. And are you concerned that the Oilers were a 100-point team last year and could miss the playoffs this year? It would be a surprise to me, but we'll see. So we'll touch on that throughout the show. I'll ask a lot of different people their thoughts. Who and why? I want to know why. Don't just say, oh, Washington. I want to know, why do you think? Why do you think LA? What about Toronto? They don't have Mitch Marner, right? Like Nick Roy's not replacing his offense. I'm not saying that Marner was the straw that stirred the drink, but what if Austin Matthews gets injured again, and now you don't have Matthews or Marner? Could Toronto be in trouble? Right? Anytime there's a serious injury to a team, heck, you know what? Now the Oilers had McDavid and Draisaitl out for 10 and 12 games respectively. A lot of times, both of them down the stretch, and Edmonton did pretty well, right? Lots of other guys scored, which helped them in the playoffs. But there's no guarantees. It's basically what I've learned when you look at that 100-point teams. No, you had more 100-point teams miss the playoffs after making it than you had other teams with 91 to 99 points miss it, which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Let us know your thoughts on that. We're going to get to the Elks. It looks like that the Ottawa Red Blacks are going to get their starting quarterback back in the lineup for the game. on Sunday, and that's good news. Good news for, it's good news for Ottawa. Not sure if it's great news for the Elks, but the truth of the matter is the Elks defense, you got to get more pressure. But Drew Brown, he's only played one game this year. It was pretty damn good. He went 34 of 41, so he completed 92.9% of his passes, 413 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not bad. Not bad at all. So you get Drew Brown back in, that offense looks pretty good. You have I wonder will Lewis talk about Ed Hervey's comments again? Have they beaten that horse dead enough, or do we have to bring him back to life one more time with Gino Lewis? We'll see. So we'll touch on that with Jeff Avery and more when we return. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and no better positive Friday for you, because maybe you're heading down to the Stampede, maybe you're going to K-Days. You want some tight Wranglers. If you're going south, well, how about $60 million and 6 Max Millions? Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Red Blacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in a tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at GoElks.com.
Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and gravel, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Bring non-perishable foods or monetary donations for Pure Leader Tackle Hunger in support of Edmonton's Food Bank. Get your tickets for Sunday's game at goelks.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Friday continues on. How are you? Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As it's time for our Elks Report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. You don't want to be hot. You want to be cool. LegacyHeating.ca, as the Elks will be taking on the Ottawa Red Blacks, and it sounds like, based on practice, that the Red Blacks are going to get their starting quarterback back, and that would be huge. Drew Brown has only played 1 game, but man, when he played, he was damn good. 34 of 41, over 400 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and that was good, because I think since then Ottawa has definitely missed him, to say the least. As Jeff Avery, former Riders wide receiver, Grey Cup champion, analyst now for the Red Blacks, joins us. Jeff, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Really good. Great to be here, Jason.
Well, Jeff, I guess, can you confirm, are you expecting Brown to play on Sunday?
Yeah, as it looks so far. I mean, the final decision hasn't been made, but he took first-team reps all week. No setbacks, as happened a couple of weeks ago when he took first-team reps one day, and then things stiffened up a bit on him the next day, so he appears to be good to go. So yeah, we're expecting to see him under center.
So if you look at, now it's only 1 game, of course, but like, was the quarterback play that much worse because the numbers with him in compared to him in the lineup are significantly different, or did it a little bit have to do with who they're playing?
Well, I think some of both. Matt Schultz stepped in to take on the Alouettes, after Drew went down. And it appeared that the Alouettes had some information on Matt. They certainly made hay, if you will, by a lot of knocked passes, both up in the air for interceptions and knocked down. And it just seemed that they understood where Matt's throwing point was from, and they took full advantage of that defensively. And they ended up with the 3 interceptions that game. And then, Dustin Crum, first-year kid 2 years ago, had to step in as coming into the year as 4th on the depth chart, had to step in because of injuries, and certainly did some good things, but it's something new for an American kid to come up here and play the Canadian game with the extra guy back there in defense and everything else that's different, the field, etc. So, he did a pretty good job, and he's shown some progress now in understanding the quarterback position, going through his reads better, but he was just overwhelmed by the pressure that the Argos put on him. And, they had some issues with the injuries along their offensive line here in Ottawa. And the gentleman who was filling in for the Canadian starter at right tackle had a tough night, gave up several sacks and a lot of pressures, and he got let go. So they're looking at someone new for this week at that right tackle position.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Offensive line play is major to the success of your offense. And when the offense rolls, they probably don't get as much credit as they should. And definitely when the offense struggles and your O-line struggles, they definitely get, as you mentioned, it gets noticed very quickly. So what about the concern for the O-line, and what can they do to appease it? Do you think they'll bring in, would they maybe check down on a tight end, or have somebody else help out to maybe prevent a little bit or a little less pressure on Sunday?
Well, it's possible. I mean, all those things are possible, and they do that on a semi-regular basis anyway, where you'll bring in an extra offensive lineman. They quite often have Anthony Goslin on the field, and he'll line up a tight end in the slot, different places. So they do things to try and give some extra assistance when there is pressure coming for the quarterback. But, as I said, a combination of things. When you have, Dustin, who was working on, just a short history in the CFL, he's doing a better job with his reads, and you compare that to Drew Brown, who really does a great job of understanding where his receivers are, where they're going to be, how the routes develop. And he has a great just a feel for putting the ball in windows, tight windows, and leading receivers into open areas. So a combination of, Drew Brown's ability to get the ball out quicker and understand where it's going, and just a little bit more help up front certainly will make a little bit of difference. But as always, I think everybody realizes it all starts with the quarterback.
Yeah, 100%. What about the defense of the Red Blacks? What's the strength?
Well, the strength was the front seven has been, and they've had issues with the secondary over the past few years. And it's just the guys up front have been a little slow getting started this year, but against the Argos, two of the starting four did get sacked, so they started to get more consistent pressure up front. So that's good news. We had some changeover at will linebacker. Frankie Griffin is back there now. And in the secondary, that was a big question mark over the past several years itself on the defense. But they brought in new personnel. We've got Amari Henderson at inside halfback, Robert Priester at inside halfback, and a couple of guys who were, CJ Colden was here last year, but he was kind of a more backup role on the practice roster. And then they brought in name escapes me right now. Oh, Adrian Fry.
Okay.
And Adrian Fry at that corner spot, boy, he was just a turnover machine, forced 3 fumbles, couple of recoveries, just really doing a great job making big plays for them. And he's back, it appears, this week. So, it's a defense that's got all the potential. It's certainly got the strength up front that it had last year in Malden, Lang, Wakefield, and Carter. So and they seem to be getting back into form. So I think the defense will perform very well.
Okay. Jeff Avery joins us, analyst for the Ottawa Red Blacks. They're in town Sunday, 5:00 kickoff against Ottawa. The Trey Ford and the Elks offense, they looked really good in the first half against Winnipeg. Obviously not great in the fourth quarter. The defense really hasn't got, I don't think, much going other than that third quarter against Winnipeg. And, you look at Ottawa, obviously they started great, then they had the injury. Now they've lost 3 in a row. When you look at those 3 losses, Jeff, are you seeing, is there one consistent area that's hurting them in each game in those losses?
The most consistent area that's hurt them in those losses is the quarterback play, but that has been aided by a few other issues, as we've already spoken about, with the offensive line play, allowing a little bit too much pressure. And we have had run into a few more deep balls going up successfully against the secondary on defensively. So, yeah, I think these are 2 clubs that are in very similar situations. They're both very desperate for a win. And Trey Ford, boy, when we played out there last year, he got the opportunity to play, and he was outstanding, both with his legs and throwing the ball. So, it's a young kid that's developing, similar to what we saw here in Ottawa with Dustin Crum. So, it's just going to be an interesting matchup with 2 teams that really are in need of a win, and no doubt it's going to show itself on the field.
Jeff, great catching up with you, man. We look forward to seeing the game on Sunday. 2 desperate teams, both really in need of a win. You don't want to fall too far behind in the playoff race early on. So I think it should be 2 desperate teams, which should make for an entertaining game.
Absolutely should do.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
That is Jeff Avery joining us from Ottawa, the Red Blacks and the Elks. And hey, the Elks, I don't think there's any debate that they got to get going here. You just, first of all, they're 0-3 again. And, they've started out 0-3, 0-7, 0-9 the last three seasons. So now that's 4 years in a row where you're at minimum 0-3. It's hard to play catch up in any league. Sure, it can happen, but you lose this game, and then, depending on what happens the rest of the weekend, you find yourself 6 or 8 points already back of teams. It's just too much. So I think they need a win. You got BC's in Montreal, and funny enough, if Montreal can find a way to get a win, then the Elks would actually move ahead of BC because they'd have the same amount of wins, but they'd have played 1 fewer game because the Elks have had a bye. BC is yet to have a bye. And this week, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who, of course, sit a perfect 4-0. So, you know what? I guess Edmonton technically can gain ground on them because right now they're 0-3. They're 8 points back, but if you get a win, then you're only 6. I don't think they're worried about first place. They're more about, the goal for Edmonton was to try to get to the playoffs. And that's either 3rd, 4th, if you can get the crossover. Right? That was realistic. Now, the good news is in the East, Hamilton, Toronto, and Ottawa, none of them are off to a good start. So that's kind of the only saving grace early on, and things can change. But early on, it looks like there could be a crossover. So we'll see. But the Elks just flat out, they got to get better. Their defense, when Jeff just outlined, and if you look at the amount of pressures and sacks that they've allowed lately in Ottawa, if you can't get pressure against the Red Blacks, I'm not sure they'll get pressure against anybody, because they haven't had consistent pressure really throughout any game this year. And I would love to see if they will get a little bit more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to having their corners not play so deep. I don't understand why they're doing it. Right? Because I think the theory is we can play off because if our defense gets pressure. Yeah, but your defense getting the pressure, so you got to adapt. And when your defense gets pressure, okay, then maybe you can play off a bit. But then, if they were getting pressure, I'd play up even more in their face. Why wouldn't you? I don't, in the wide field, Declan, makes no sense to me why you'd play your corners that deep every game. It hasn't worked through 3 games at all.
No, I mean, it's been horrible. Like, the coverage has been one of the biggest issues I've had, because I think there's a lot of talent back there in that defensive secondary. And I think there's a lot of guys who can make plays. And I think there are a lot of guys who have that big play capability, but they just haven't been put in situations to do so. And Eddie's been pretty lenient with JC, first time as a DC and former teammate of his. But one thing he brought up that gets mentioned as well is that when you play that press man coverage, you have to have the ability to do it. And there may not just be trust in the unit from the coaching staff the way I do. And that's why we haven't been seeing it. But I think it's definitely the number one. I mean, I don't want to say number one because there's a lot on that defensive side of the ball that needs to change. That's one of my big issues for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can find that part of their game. We got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I asked the question, Gregor, why in a positive Friday would you bring up that 100-point stat? Because now I'm wondering if maybe the Oilers will be one of the 100-point teams. Thanks, from Dan. Well, Dan, that's why we have the discussion. I found it was quite interesting to see how many teams who were 100-point teams the year before, and in some cases like 116, 114, 109 points, like, that's a really good year. And then the next year, you're dropping by 31 points, 33 points, 29, 28, and you're out. Right? Nashville was a 99-point team, dropped to 68. Like, that's a significant amount. If we see a team improving by 20 points, we're like, ooh, that's a really good year. You got teams dropping by 30. That's a significant drop-off. Now, do I think the Oilers are going to drop off by 30 points? No, not even close. But to be a 100-point team, to miss the playoffs in the West, like, it's not crazy to think that maybe you drop off 7 or 8 points. Now, every one of these teams that missed dropped off at least 16 points. So it's not like they went from, a 100-point team and then missed the playoffs at 95, where you'd be like, wow, okay, geez, it's 5 points, maybe a little bit of luck here and there, one injury for 3 weeks. That might be the difference. Because really, 5 points isn't a massive difference, right? We're talking two fewer wins and one less overtime loss. You're like, all right, it's not crazy to think that. But just picturing teams. Now, this offseason, a little bit different because we didn't see a massive amount of player movement. We saw some. But as I outlined, amongst those 100-point teams, there hasn't been, massive move. Vegas definitely made the biggest change by adding Mitch Marner. But they also lost Alex Pietrangelo and Nick Hague. So that's pretty significant. Winnipeg, Nyquist, Taves, Pearson for Ehlers, Appleton, and Kupari. Does that make them like, I would argue probably a little bit worse, right? Just because of Nikolai Ehlers. Washington really didn't do much, right? They got Declan Chisholm. He's going to be their number 7 defenseman. They switched out a number 7 defenseman, and they brought in young Justin Sorda from Florida, and Lars Eller's out. So that he'll definitely add speed to their lineup. Not a center, so not a huge change. Right? Look at Toronto. Now, Toronto, they lost Marner, Pontus Holmberg, Max Pacioretty, and they brought in Nick Roy, Michelli, and Pizzetta, right? So are they they're definitely not better, right? They're not. We'll see. There's still some talk that they're looking at some other guys, maybe some trades. We'll see. There's all these rumblings that there'll be some teams now that might make some trades. I don't know. Like, why? Like, why suddenly, when you hear that lots of teams feel they're ready to take a step forward, there just wasn't a lot of teams willing to trade off for draft picks. this summer or look for futures and say, give some good players, away we go. Like there was teams say, hey, we'll take Victor Arvidsson in Boston because we think he can help us. We think we're going up. They just gave up a 5th rounder. There wasn't a lot of teams that were like, you know what? Hey, let's load up in that draft. But if all of a sudden you get to November, the end of November this coming season, and it looks like you're out of it, I could see some teams, okay, let's trade off now. Let's improve our odds, man. We want to give ourselves the best chance to get Gavin McKenna. We know it's a lottery, but I would still take the odds. Right? You want the best odd favorite. There's no doubt about it. So LA got older. It was an interesting offseason for the Kings. We'll see how it plays out. And here's the other thing about LA that maybe doesn't get talked about. But Darcy Kemper last year had a 2.02 goals against average. His career goals against average is 2.54. He's never in a full NHL season. And I'm talking like, excluding the year where he played like 20 games, where he had a save percentage, goals against below 2.3. He was 2.02 last year. Like the best year of his life. He was unreal. He was a second finalist for the Vezina. Is he going to repeat himself for that? Those are pretty hard numbers to match. So does that make LA a little susceptible? We'll see. Tampa Bay didn't make many changes. Now, they still have Kucherov and Point and all these really good players. But I just wonder. Their bottom 6 wasn't very good last year. And really, they brought in, 2 other guys in the bottom 6. Pelche and Holmberg, Glendening and Atkinson go out. I would think that's an upgrade, but is it a massive one? Who knows? So it's Washington, the Ovi chase. Their offense improved massively last year. I know people, will look and say, hey, they're a team that they had a very good save percentage 5-on-5, and they had a very high shooting percentage 5-on-5. And when you combine those two you add them together, usually that means you're going to have some success. Usually, not always. Right? Washington, they ended up at like a 1.014 PDO, so decent. The Jets actually were the highest. So, and you know who is the second highest and the third highest? Tampa Bay and Toronto. So if you're a believer that PDO is something that's hard to maintain, because basically what it is save percentage and shooting percentage combined, you're like, because the reason the Edmonton Oilers, a lot of them would say bad luck. The only teams with a worse PDO than the Oilers last year, well, Nashville was the only team worse. San Jose, Carolina, Flyers, and the Oilers were all tied at 0.983. And only Nashville was worse at 0.970. So you could make an argument, if you're a believer in that stat, that the Oilers should come up from it. So we'll see. Hey, Gregor, Washington also lost Mangiapane. Yeah, that's true. And he's and you know what? He's somebody who should, I believe, help the Edmonton Oilers. He's going to play a completely different role, right? Because if some people just look at how he played in Washington last year, they'll look at his stats and be like, why is Edmonton going to play him? Because he played basically on their 4th line last year. That's where he played the whole time. Now, why that is, we can make you can have discussion and debate over it all you want. And we'll find out. But I look at the opportunity for him to get more chance here in Edmonton. He's shown in his past that if you play him with skill guys, he can score more. So, is 20 goals a realistic number? I always like to err on the side of caution on that. So if he gets 20, great. Now, I know 35 is his career high. I think that's a little bit of an outlier, but could he get to 25? Maybe. We'll see. Quick break. We'll return, and we'll focus on the mental and how athletes train now in the off season to improve their mental game. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the Sunday Showdown, July 6th at 4 p.m. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. TheStingers.ca.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell Legacy without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks salute Edmonton's first responders tonight with complimentary tickets for them and half-price tickets for their +1. Then our local forces will compete in legendary contests like the Tug of War. Get your ticket today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
We've got some good news for you. Employee pricing is back at St. Albert Dodge. You pay what we pay, and if you're in the market for a new vehicle, it just doesn't get any better than that. You'll get a great deal, and it's so easy. No complications, no negotiations. The pricing is simple. Your biggest challenge will be choosing the vehicle you want. Employee pricing. Come see us now for the best selection and the best pre-tariff prices of the year. And see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocksyag.com.
Sports radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.244. Positive Friday, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where it is Lotto Max Friday. $60 million. Woo! Couldn't use that. Good luck. Get in it at PlayAlberta.ca. And we are joined, as we are by most Fridays, for former Olympic gold medalist. Now she is also a mental coach. Lorianne Munzer joins us. Lorianne, how you doing?
Doing awesome. How are you doing, Jason?
I am good. Now every athlete has different off seasons, of course, and there's always lots of training that goes in on the physical side. But I know in the last few years that there's been much more of an emphasis on like mental focus training and the different elements of what you can do, for athletes, not just professional athletes, even younger athletes. What are, I guess, kind of, let's say, we'll go, the athlete's name is Sarah, and Sarah wants to start improving, feels like, I want to improve my mental game. Where do you start? If you're an athlete out there, professional, amateur, what's the easiest place to start to work on, to improve your mental focus and preparation?
Well, one of the things, Jason, is you always want to play. You want to have fun, because if you're playing and you're having fun, the new learning is going to go in a heck of a lot quicker. It goes in for kids 10 to 20 repetitions versus adults when they're like really trying hard to make it happen. It takes 100 to 200 reps. So it's like 10 more the time for adults than it is for kids. So if you're tapping into something fun, finding out what they love to do, and then part of it is shutting down the outside distractions of, can you quiet your mind? Number one, it's starting with your breathing. Like, can you take in 10 deep breaths first without having your mind wander on you? Sometimes it's incorporating and getting the younger athletes to describe back to you, to train, like me, if I was coaching them, is to train me. How do I do your sport? How could I do the drills that really good, but I've never done them before? And it's, can you teach somebody else how to do your sport? And then you find out what they're aware of or what they're not aware of, and if they've got some gaps where they could actually improve. So it's actually coming down to, how quickly can you quiet your mind and quiet the noise? That's always the first place to start.
Okay. Like learning how to quiet the noise. Like I was talking to a psychologist, even, EMBR for a lot of athletes, when because you got the, your rational side of your brain, and then you got the emotional side of the brain. And sometimes, when you get heated, you get emotional, all of a sudden the one side takes over. And I was watching, because I asked him the question, because I know goalies do visual tests, right? Like Hellebuck, and they're moving their eyes. But I've seen a lot of players that stand there now and they're just moving their eyes left and right and left and right. And he says they're doing that because it slows you down and it balances both sides of your brain and is a way to reset in a kind of a simple way.
Cool. I like that idea. I've never heard it expressed by that. When you were starting there, I was thinking about, there's always that duality. You've got the villain that's going, oh man, like, forget it. I'm going to knock, you take you right off your skates and dump you down the ice. And then there's the other part where you want to be your own superhero. So if you're the superhero and you put your hands on your hips, you have a different attitude. You have a different energy right there. And the posture of how you stand is also part of the mental training, because a lot of people and a lot of athletes training, they go, oh, I'm done. And the villain overtakes you. But if you can start to compartmentalize it, if stuff is going sideways, who's showing up? Is it the villain? Is it the superhero? Or is it you couldn't make the transition quick enough? And when you're able to start making those changes, those shifts from when the villain takes over, maybe you're the Green Hornet or whatever, and you decide you want to be Batman, it's like, how fast can you make those switches into who you want to be, the identity of, maybe I want to be Summer McIntosh. Maybe I want to be, Usain Bolt again, or, some other athlete like, Caitlin Clark, right? It's just, who is it that you want to model the way? And there's always an athlete that every athlete either aspires to be like or wants to be training with, because if you're training with them, you are in a total different mindset of how you show up, how you prepare, because you will prepare a little bit more. You might pay attention a little bit more. And those are different skills that as a coach, you get to watch the athletes and you figure out where the spark ignites and then where it doesn't even get lit. And if you can figure out those things, it can be something as simple as, what is your favorite drill that you love to do? What is the drill that you don't like the most? And figure out what are the similarities between the two so that you can actually start getting them to focus and pay attention a little bit more.
As you, became more versed and understanding of how, the mental side can help you, Lori-Ann, we talked about kind of that first step. What were things later in your career when maybe you were more advanced that you did that you felt, because everybody's going to be different, right? Like that's the one thing. What works for Jason Gregor won't work for Lori-Ann and vice versa. But there's probably certain things that you found that worked for you best, kind of trial and error. All right, so what didn't work and then you changed it that did work?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going back into the archives like crazy here. Part of it is one of the first words that you used, understanding. Number one, did I understand the exercise, the drill of why we were doing that? And as I got more familiar with what was expected, what are all the nuances or what are all the changes that could go sideways, like all the things that could go wrong, I started to be able to respond versus react a lot quicker. So part of it was that, but also for me, it was the preparation. I know we've talked about this and chuckled about this before, is I definitely had to know as much about what was going on around me. And then I could start to be more flexible with what was coming down the pipe or the sudden changes. And it's going to be so different for everybody. Some athletes are going to need more variety, more uncertainty. Some are going to be like, well, it's got to be this time to this time. And then you can throw them into the uncertainty part. But if they've rehearsed it a number of times visually, mentally, or watch a video film, that I found for me was the biggest game changer. Is I would say I completed an effort, an activity one way. My coach would go, no, you didn't. And I'd be arguing with him and he'd go, well, let's bring out the video, the camcorder, right? We didn't have the iPhones or that. Right. And it's just like, what the hell was I thinking, right? What was I doing? And sometimes I was right. Sometimes I was wrong. Sometimes my coach was right. But the video always showed when you're so into the moment of what you're actually doing and what you think you're doing, because they're three different things. And just going through the process, the consistency was huge as well.
I think sometimes, there's people that, they got to get to the rink early, or they got to get the field. You got to focus. And the truth is, and I think it was you telling, like, we had a sports psychologist on many years ago who told you can only focus for so long, right? Like you can't, especially younger kids, right? Like some of them get there, an hour and a half. Coach, you got to be there an hour and a half before the game. And he's like, why? They got to get prepared. I'm like, yeah, but what are they doing to be prepared for the game? Right? Like, honestly, because you can end up thinking too much, and now their mental focus and training has them physically fatigued before the game starts.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do, is just like, okay, well, figure out what is the routine. Is it equipment setup? And then just go and play around. Like it's awesome when you see like playgrounds around different venues where the kids are training, because they go play and they just get so relaxed. They get into it. Whereas if you got to think about it, the kids get the anxiety. They start stewing about it. Well, I'm not good at this, or, well, maybe I'm not good at that. They see a competitor show up and they go, oh, well, like we've already lost the game even before they got on the court, the arena, or wherever it is that they're going. And it's just, you have to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And I think over preparing in that aspect is the worst thing you can do, because you will run yourself into the ground more and quicker and run out of energy and blow the game even before you start.
Lori-Ann Munzer joins us. As you work on, like, you train, obviously you have to physically train, and you can kind of work on your mental toughness while you're training, simply because you're like, I'm not feeling very good today. I got to learn how to push myself. And because to me, Do you have any tips on pushing yourself, harder? Right? Because a lot of people think they're working their hardest. Like, I've talked to a lot of players like, you know what, man, I trained really hard. Like, I thought it. And then I went to an NHL camp and I'm like, damn, I didn't really train that hard. Right? How do you learn to push yourself harder in a safe way?
I think knowing what the metrics are, Jason, like what am I shooting for? Is it like, am I bench pressing, my body weight or another 100 pounds? Is there a time capacity that I have to be aware of or a time standard I have to meet? And then it's, where am I? Like when I was starting out, we would do 40-kilometer time trials. Those are like death. They're like stupid. It's, you got to go out as fast as you can. You got to keep it for an hour or more or less. But it's just, if you don't have an idea of what the metrics are, you are probably thinking you are pushing yourself, and you are. But then when you measure it against, Tiger Woods, how long can he do a drive? Lisa Longball, I think of her when I was out golfing, and it's just, I don't even come close. Well, part of the problem was I was shooting left when I found out on Wednesday last week golfing. I'm actually a right-handed golfer where I thought I was a left-handed golfer. So what are the standards? I know it was really...
Whoa.
No, I'm totally serious. I have always played hockey left-handed.
Yeah.
So I was given a left-handed golf club.
Well, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I right-handed. I can do a lot of stuff left-handed. The glove is in the left hand.
Yeah, but you throw with your right arm and you catch with your left. Like but your right arm is your dominant arm?
Typically, yes. But I was told in golfing that it was left. So I now know I can.
I'm curious. Who told you that?
I don't know. I've only played golf about 10 times in my life, once a year or twice a year. And,
so
was
a golf instructor, somebody sat down and goes through the swing, or is just one of your friends to say, hey, Lorianne, I think you should stand on the other side of the ball?
Well, just golf pros at a golf tournament that I do once a year. And it was like, okay, well, here, try this, right? And then I found out, no, I'm actually right-handed. So I'm like, okay, give me your club. Give me the right-handed club. And it was like, whoa, that went way further.
All right.
It still hooked left, but it still went way further. Because the thing is, I wasn't powering through it. It's like, okay, I really got to go through, hold the club, relax, set the legs, set the core. All right. And then just swing and just let her rip. And it ripped. It was so awesome.
What's interesting about golf is, was it the right club, though, for you? Because kind of like your bike, if someone jumps on Lorianne's bike, it's not going to be as effective for them as it is for Lorianne.
Well, if you got long legs, you're probably going to be in good stead. Not so long legs, we're going to have to lower the seat. I tried about 10 different clubs because we had 10 different groups. I was on the first hole. So I got to try a number of clubs. Some were long, some were short, and some were like, I think I'm going to keep your big
This is a great mental challenge. Is like, hey, I'm just going to swing all these different clubs, and which one feels good, that's what I'll try. So
totally.
So one last one for you on the men. Do you believe in the placebo effect for an athlete? Did that come into play?
The placebo effect. Okay, what part are you talking about for the placebo effect?
Well, you know how a lot of times if you do something, like a lot of people believe, hey, if you take this, it's going to make you feel better, so you play better or you train better, right? So, and I don't know whether that's doing the same thing before, a routine effect that maybe really has no impact on the outcome, but in some cases people believe it does. So do you think that actually works for athletes? So I don't know if the placebo effect really means more of a routine effect in this case, but do you see at all the connection at all, or you're like, no, I'm not a fan?
I truly, honest to gosh, don't know what you're talking about. My head goes placebo effect. Okay, are we talking doping control?
Placebo effect, people will say if you do if I inject a certain type of drug, but even though it's not supposed to legally, doesn't change. But some people are like, no, I feel better now. It's fixing my knee. So let's say Lorianne's like, you know what? If I have a banana before the race instead of an orange, it might not make a difference, but I think it makes a difference. That's what I mean.
Well, I can tell you the orange, you're going to probably puke up if you're training with me. A banana would stay down a little bit longer. I always say don't try anything new when you're going to race or you've got a really important event. That is not the time to try a new pair of shoes, a new pair of skates. I've done new bicycles. I've done bicycles from other countries like an hour before I was supposed to go. Oh yeah, we'll set you up. And it's like they changed the gearing on me because in track cycling, there was one gear, no brakes. So you set the gear, but I didn't always see what the chainring and the cog was. So I just went, yep, I'll do it. They upped the gearing and it was like, oh, monster start. In that instance, it was nothing was going to be different, but the gear ratio was different. I performed way better, but it all depends on what it is. I always say don't try anything new before you race or when you're racing, because that's not the time to find out if it works or if it doesn't.
So how did you learn which foods you could eat that helped you compared to ones that didn't help?
Oh, trial and error and a lot of puking up beside the grandstand there. Like literally.
What made you now? Why would an orange? Because it's acidic. Why would an orange?
It's
It has
acidic.
sugar.
Yeah,
Acidic,
it's
okay.
acidic. So a banana is a lot more dense. I probably would eat a third of a banana versus the whole thing. But then it also depends on how much time before you're going to go do an effort or a lift. I would always be okay an hour before. We talked about 6 almonds. I'm hypoglycemic reactive. So if I don't have enough food in me, peanut butter, 6 almonds an hour are going to be good. Milk, I stay away from. Tomatoes, cucumbers, anything acidic, more. Rice and chicken was always my balance. And I'm going to give a shout out to Tim Hortons. I don't know what it is in their chili. I love it. I could eat that 10 minutes before I went and did a race or an event. I ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Hey, Laura,
It stayed down, and protein. I'm a carnivore. I will admit that. Potatoes, rice, chicken, not red meat, more the white meat. Fish, not so much. It's trial and error, Jason. You figure it out pretty quick.
Well, so there was your placebo effect for chili. See? Aha.
There we go. Chili, yeah, I would say that Nationals was really, really good. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days, and then I don't think I ate it for 3 years afterwards.
Oh, there you go. Laureate, have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy your ride. I'm assuming you're riding somewhere this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Every morning now I've been out on the mountain bike. So, yeah, trucking on. So we should go for a ride sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sure. I do have a flats. By the way, I just started watching. I don't know if you've watched the Tour de France Unchained. Now, I know you were more of a sprinter, but have you watched the Tour de France Unchained on Netflix?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know it was on, but it's probably insane.
It is. I could not believe. Now, I've only watched the first 3 episodes of season 1. And I knew they were going fast. I didn't know how fast they were going. And then I've seen some videos of certain crashes, but there's a few other ones here. And the cobblestones on the Tour de France is absolute just carnage. So it's kind of for anybody out there who is a fan of F1 and you watch Drive to Survive. I watched this. I actually think it's better because there's not a lot of just the drama that they did on that one. This is a lot more about the racing and the strategy that goes into it and stuff. And just to watch these guys climb the mountains like it's no big deal is mind blowing to me. So
yeah,
I would, as a cyclist, I'd recommend watching it.
Totally. I was in France with Alex Stita and a group watching the Tour de France as they came in. And Jason, I was standing on a hill. I absolutely suck as a hill climber. That's why I'm a sprinter. They came flying by us. And I tell you, my hair was just
yeah. And they're going uphill.
And they're going uphill. And I'm just going, the guys who got the broom wagon, they got picked up because they were going too slow. I'm thinking, I don't even compete with that time. They are absolutely flying. They are on another level, and it is incredible to watch. And then you talk about the cobblestones, you're riding on paved stones, and it's a 50-50 crapshoot. Are you going to get a flat? Are you going to hit something? And you ride less than a centimeter away. You're elbow to elbow. You're jockeying. You go down like dominoes, and you fly like insane rockets. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So I check it out. And you find a flat surface that maybe I'll go riding with you. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I'll bring the bungee cord or else I'll find a bicycle built for two.
I have one of those bikes where I can just latch onto the back of yours and I cycle it, but you're doing most of the work and I'm just on the back end. That would be great.
Well, I think that's when the hand comes out and grabs the back of my jersey and goes, please bring me home.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Lorianne. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Lori Ann Munzer. I do recommend watching that documentary on Netflix. It is wild. I'm telling you, the camera angles they give you a real inside view of what it is on these mountains, and not only uphill, the speed they're going at downhill is wild. And then you go into these lanes and you've got like the spectators. It's crazy. Like I've seen it before where you're like, what's this guy doing? They run out, the bike hits them, and it is crazy. I have to say, for three episodes in, I'm hooked. I'm absolutely loving it. I know there's three seasons from what I've seen, but really enjoying season 1 of the Tour de France Unchained on Netflix. Let's get to Declan Kruger Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your partners in power, Ewell, EWEL.ca, for all your electrical gear. Since 1975, there's one place to shop, EWEL.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Summit Restaurant.
Located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common, Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The crackle of a morning campfire, the steaming of a kettle, the sizzle of bacon, the deflating of the mattresses, the stuffing of the sleeping bags, the collapsing of the tent, the packing of the car, the closing of the doors, the crunch of the gravel under your tires, the quiet of an empty campsite, the gust of wind, the scattering of embers, the burst of flame, the fall of a tree, the scurrying of wildlife, the roar of a wildfire, chopping of helicopters, the feeling of overwhelming regret. 63% of Alberta's wildfires were started by people. Don't be that person. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. How are you? Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We very much appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up, the like button on YouTube. Make on a Positive Friday. Make Declan say very easy to do. The Gregor Show, as always, is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's not easy, but man, would it be great. $60 million. Lotto Max tonight. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And while you're there, you might as well ride the gravy train known as the Toronto Blue Jays. What did I tell you yesterday? The Blue Jays were big underdogs in that game. Hopefully you went on them. It's pretty darn good. PlayAlberta.ca. Also, it's Positive Friday. Would you like to go to the Elks game? I got 2 sets of tickets on the west side of the stadium. So you won't be baking in the sun. They're super nice, right around the 10, 15 yard line. So if you want to go, text in the word Elks to 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. And we'll pick 2 winners. And you will be going to the game on Sunday, courtesy of the Elks. Pretty sweet. We welcome in Wanye Gretz from Oilers Nation. Wanye, how you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm well. I'm in the dregs of summer. I wish it was training camp already. I only need about 2 weeks to reset after the cup. Ready to go.
Were you watching videos of the prospects?
I was. I saw an interview with Matt Savoy, and they said, you look like a veteran.
Well, he does. He's 20. You know, I'll say that it was interesting you bring that up because the fact that Matt Savoy was there, because you don't have to go, right? Like he was a professional. He played the full year in pro last year. Now I know he's from here, so, it's not like he has to travel far. So he probably likes getting on the ice with other guys, but any opportunity for him to just as a reminder, hey, I'm here, I think it's good. I think, you go to that camp, you're 21 years of age. You're kind of a leader amongst those young players, definitely probably the most skilled guy out there. I don't think there's much question about that. And that, to me, that was a very smart and wise, crafty move by Savoy to be there.
He did an interview, I think it was Tony Brar, and it was great. He sounds like a professional. He's very poised. What do you think is like a reasonable outlook for his career before I get super excited?
Well, it's a very good question. I think he's coming in a good situation for a few reasons, because it's not always great. You come in on a bad team and you'll get opportunity and you can find some legs in the NHL. But sometimes, you don't necessarily learn a lot of the key things that help you be in an NHL, or you can be there and successful, but your team gets their teeth kicked in all the time. And, it takes you a long time necessarily to really improve. So Matt Savoy comes in. He doesn't have any pressure. There's McDavid, and there's Draisaitl, and there's Hyman, and there's Bouchard, and Nurse, and Ekholm. You go down the list, right? Like, Matt Savoy is not even going to be in the top 12 players of expectations when the season begins. So he can come in and just be a complimentary top 9 forward. Do your job, play smart. He's a top 10 pick. He's got a lot of skill, but now he's got to translate it to the NHL. I think the advantage could be had that, he's probably at some point going to get a chance to play with two of the best offensive players in the world. So, from an offensive standpoint, that can help. I know that I talked to Matt last year during the season, and, early on in the year, even Keith Gretzky was saying, we actually think Matt's playing really well. He wasn't getting a lot of points because didn't have a lot of skilled guys with him, so they weren't finishing some plays, and then he wasn't shooting. But if you look at his numbers in the second half, it really kind of took off. So I think there's a player that gained a lot of confidence. He got a taste of the NHL here. So okay, what I got? Yeah, bigger, stronger, faster. We all know those things. But it's more a little bit about watching the game and thinking, okay, how do I play it so I fit in with guys here? Because most of the time the NHL players are in the right position more often than not. So I would say Matt Savoy has a realistic chance to be a complimentary top 6 forward, which would be you become that in the NHL, that is a hell of a career.
Absolutely.
Right?
He has the right attitude too. I've seen him, I think, of talk 4 or 5 times now. I watch a lot of that raw footage from the Oilers on YouTube. There's a lot of really good interviews there, and he just strikes me as really poised.
Few other things. So I wrote an article today at OilersNation.com. So get your thoughts. I'm sure you've already read it because you read all the articles there. But I was talking about this unique trend that's going on in the NHL last night. I know you're like the kids. You're following all the trends on TikTok or wherever the other trends are. Well, in the last 3 years, the trend in the NHL is 3 or more 100-point teams from the previous year missed the playoffs.
Oh, no.
So, in 2022, you had Calgary had 111 points, St. Louis 109, Pittsburgh 103, Washington 100. They all missed the playoffs in 2023. In 2023, New Jersey had 112, Minnesota had 103, Seattle had 100. They all missed the playoffs the next year. And all of these teams dropped minimum 16 points to a maximum of 33 points. Like, we're talking significant drops from 100-point teams. And then, of course, in 2024, the Rangers, they won the President's Trophy. 114 points. They missed the playoffs. Boston and Vancouver had 109. They all missed the playoffs. Rangers dropped by 29. The Bruins dropped by 33. Vancouver lost only 19 points considering all the drama they had last year. So that leaves us to this season. And you had 9 teams who had 100 points last year. Jets, Capitals, Knights, Maple Leafs, Stars, Kings, Lightning, Avs, Oilers. You got to pick 2 or 3 of those teams. Jets, Capitals, Knights, Leafs, Stars, Kings, Lightning, Avs, Oilers. Yeah, and I'm just saying, if we're going off the trend, because it's hard to tell, because I don't want to pick a 100-point team to miss because I don't think they will. But recent logic tells me that they will.
It's the Leafs.
The Leafs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Terrible.
All right. Anyone else?
No Mitch Marner, but also just karma.
Well, they were actually, it's interesting. For those who believe that PDO evens out, Toronto was the 3rd highest team in the NHL in PDO, which is you add your save percentage and your shooting percentage together. It basically means that, if you have it, they say it should even out. Now, that's just a formula. I don't believe that it has to always even out because that's ridiculous. If look at teams who win the Stanley Cup, trust me, their PDO is always high. And over a short time, you know what? You want that. In a long season, they feel like eventually it evens out. But if you look at teams with PDOs in the regular season last year, well, guess who had number 1? The Winnipeg Jets. So it didn't, and they finished first in the league. Then Tampa Bay, then Toronto, and they were all at 1.021. Like 1,000 is basically even, and they were up at 1025. And that's at 5-on-5 on ice shooting percentage, on ice save percentage. Jets, Lightning, Leafs, Kings, Stars were the top 5. Capitals, Blues, and Caps. So the top 7 all made the playoffs. The top PDO team that missed the playoffs was the Columbus Blue Jackets, then the Rangers, Ducks, Sabres, Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers. So if Oilers fans are worried, you probably shouldn't be, because the Oilers were tied for the second worst PDO last year at 983. So you would argue that if you believe in that, then the Oilers should naturally be better next year because they had such a low PDO last season.
I don't know that I subscribe to this PDO business.
Yeah, it's fair. I don't think it's one statistic, say percentage goals again. You could say, hey, we got good team defense, and you know what, we got some guys who are scoring quite well. Great. So because every year, like if you look at the Lightning's on ice shooting percentage, the Capitals did have the highest at 10.65. Then the Sabres had the second best. Columbus had the third best. They didn't make the playoffs. Now Columbus was a really high scoring team though, but they didn't make the playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers 5-on-5 on ice shooting percentage, not great, 27th. So, you would think they could improve there, right? To score a few more goals. That would help them. Their on ice save percentage at 5-on-5 was 23rd, actually better than their on ice shooting percentage. So, you look at that from an Edmonton perspective, I don't think there's much concern, but obviously wild things can happen, a key injury here or there. But I was looking, none of these teams really had massive injury issues when they dropped off. Like the Rangers and Vancouver had a lot of drama, right? It was funny how the Rangers they were 12-6-1. Then their GM sends the note out about Trouba and Kreider. That gets made public. And then the Rangers, from there to the rest of the season, they were 25th in the NHL. And, we all know what happened in Vancouver. There was this Miller and Pedersen, they can't get along. And so then you had to trade one of them. And the guy that they kept was making 11.5 sheets, and he scored a whopping 45 points. So, so you picked Toronto, and who else?
Well, if Ovi retires.
Well, he's going to play one more year at least.
Has he confirmed that?
Yeah, he said he's coming back. He already said that.
I saw a photo of him. He looks like he is healthy right now. He's got a front porch on him. I was like, I don't know if he's coming back.
No, he said he was coming.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was coming back.
Okay. Well, then I don't know. I don't want to ever bet against the Jets. Who are my other guys? Dallas,
Tampa Bay, LA.
Oh, LA.
Yeah.
They're spending money like reassembling the 2019 Oilers is the play. Like there is some weird Cody Ceci. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it is a lot of money. I was surprised when I saw that one. I'm like, ooh,
Kenny.
It's Cody Ceci, when he was in Edmonton at 3-year, like a 3.2, he was fine. There's fine value for that. But yeah, 4.5 and they might be a third pair guy there, him and Dumoulin. So obviously he feels that they want some veteran guys that are on the blue line. So we'll see how it plays out, because that one definitely was a little bit of an head scratcher for me. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll be joined by Joe Yerdon. Speaking of teams on WTF, probably the biggest WTF in the NHL. We'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Red Blacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at GoElks.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen, but I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob. But less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
328. How are you? Welcome back. Pause the Friday edition of the Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. It's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And this weekend, stop in. Ooh, they have the international menu. You want to check out some new menu items? Only at McDonald's, and $2 sundaes and $2 mini, or Yeah, minis, milkshakes, only at McDonald's. There is the offseason in the NHL, but one of the big stories that continues to go on is Bowen Byram. He was drafted by Colorado, was traded to Buffalo, and now it seems like it's a foregone conclusion that the Sabres are going to trade him. Joe Yerdon joins us from the Bleacher Report, longtime beat reporter for the Sabres. And Joe, I guess, does he want to get traded? Do they not want to pay him? What's led to them shipping it out, or do they just say, hey, we got too many left defensemen?
I think this is something where they can give something to get something more that they need. Because, they traded JJ Peterka. That's a lot of goals that they sacrificed out of the lineup to accommodate somebody who didn't want to be there anymore. So you have Bo Byram, and he's in a weird spot because he's behind Owen Power, he's behind Rasmus Dahlin. So finding a way to fix one issue and changing it into another just happens to work out that he's a really good defenseman, and you think you'd be able to get a lot for him, but it's turning out to be a bit of an odd market because a lot of people address things through free agency or other trades or what have you. So the market's a little dried up, and the top six scorer that I think Buffalo wants, maybe a top six scorer and another defenseman, pretty hard to find right now. And the teams that need a defenseman might not have the guy to make the deal happen. So it's a little awkward. I don't think they have a problem paying him, but it's just the fit it's a little awkward right now. It was last season too.
Yeah, is he good on the right side? Can one of those three guys play comfortably on the right side, or are they just all better on the left, which would be normal?
Well, I would say Dahlin is extremely good on the right side.
Okay.
Looking back to his draft year, if you watch any of his videos from that year, now granted this is we're talking this is a few years ago now, but all of his great highlights come from him playing on the right side of the ice in Sweden. Obviously, anybody is going to be a lot better on their strong side. That's clear. But Dahlin, we've asked him about this probably at least once or twice every year. Are you cool with playing the right side? And he's just like, I love it. So he's very amenable to it, and he can do it. But it's it makes it a little bit more difficult manning the wall, because you got to change your body position and handling it. Cutting to the center ice can be a little tricky. So, but he's very capable of doing it. Byram says he's okay with it. He's like, if coach wants me to do it, I'll do it. But he's definitely a lot better on his left side. Same for Power. I mean, Power's played some of the right side too, but again, guys like that are much better on the left side. But Dahlin, he's totally good with it.
Okay. You look at the Peterka trade, and it sounds like there were some things off of the ice where he wasn't overly happy. They weren't really happy, so they make that trade. They bring in Michael Kesselring. They bring in Josh Jonas, probably a third line player at this stage of his career. Maybe we'll get a second liner. We'll see. Kesselring basically played third pair minutes last season, but in Buffalo he's probably going to play a second pair, I would think, on the right side. Mm-hmm. You look at their off season, and it's 14 years, Joe. And I know that 14 years, lots of these guys weren't even none of them were on the team. Most of the management weren't part of it, but it's 5 years with their current management team that they've missed the playoffs, and they got close, 91 points a few years ago, but now it seems like they're going back down again. Where are they at? How do you read Buffalo? And is there reason to believe that they can get back on track and get into the playoffs next season, or is that a pipe dream?
I think it's not a full pipe dream, but I mean, you look at their division. The Atlantic Division might be the toughest one in the NHL right now. I mean, you got Florida sitting at the top of it. You've got Tampa. You've got Toronto. You've got Ottawa, who's climbed up. Montreal's made a leap. Boston definitely wasn't good last year, but I don't believe that they're dead until they're totally dead. So, there's that. And then you got Detroit, who's kind of in the same boat as Buffalo. And you're just kind of waiting for them to break out. And it's a very tough division to deal with. And, you look at the makeup of the lineup, and there's a lot of talent there. I mean, there's a lot of talent, and it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page. And everybody, not to, get all very cliche with this, but everybody's got to be rowing the boat together, going in the same direction and doing what they have to. And I think that's a big part of what Lindy Ruff's trying to do with the group and trying to get everybody to play more. It's like a team buzzword, but it's, play more connected, feed off of each other, which they were kind of doing late in the season. But, the key to last year was don't lose 13 games in a row ever. But the guys who were more susceptible to freelancing while they were on the ice, we've seen them depart in the last few years. So you want to get everybody going, you want to get everybody together, but it's been such a fight, and there's been just constant turnover all the time, whether it's behind the bench or the front office or the roster itself. It's a lot of change, and these last 2 years, I think Kevin Adams has made solid moves in the offseason. Like, these have been strong moves, but with a team that's not made the playoffs in over a decade, it gets lost in the shuffle because it's like, well, you made these great moves, but what did it get you? It didn't get you in the playoffs, so basically, who cares? So like that's why walking away from the summer, if they don't replace Peterka with somebody who will score goals instead of hoping that guys break out, and you're kind of left, I don't know, holding the bag with Bo Byram, you're just going to be looking at this going like, all right, well, they got all these defensemen. Who's putting the puck in the net for these guys? Because you're basically hoping that, guys like Jack Quinn and Zach Benson and all of them can have breakout seasons and start burying some shots. And, if you're starting your season saying, well, if this happens, we'll be okay, that's not good.
Joe Yerdon joined us talking about the Buffalo Sabres. And we've seen some of the rumors, Vegas, interesting one. They don't have any cap space, so they have to be money in, money out. The Calgary Flames interested in Bo Byram, and I understand it. So if the Buffalo Sabres if we go back to Byram and Joe, you look at the return, is it obvious then that they would like a right shot defenseman so they can move Darlene? And what else would they want? Do they want a center? You got Josh Norris, but then you got Yuri Kulich, and Ryan McLeod's a really good third line center, had a really good year last year. Maybe he can become a second liner. We'll see. But ideally, if they're moving Byram, what do they want back?
I think a right shot defenseman would be good because you get balance in the lineup, which helps. That's where a team like Vegas is interesting because you've got Zach Whitecloud there. Vegas loves all their guys, which I totally get. But if you could pull a guy like Whitecloud out of that and put him into the Sabre lineup someplace, like that balances everything out in a really good way. I think in a perfect world they could call Calgary and do a Byram for Rasmus Anderson swap, but that A isn't going to happen. B won't work. So
yeah.
But yeah, you get a solid right defenseman and a winger. I mean, maybe if you get a center, I think having too many centers is a nice problem to have, but ideally a winger who can just fill the net, and isn't a problem defensively, which I know that's the perfect storm for everybody. Everybody wants a bunch of those in the lineup, but this is why it's tough, because if you can look at all these teams, it's St. Louis, Calgary, it's Vancouver, or not Vancouver, Vegas, any of these teams, trying to find two of those guys to pull them off there, it becomes a little difficult to see how a trade happens because, either guys have no trade clauses or they're younger players and the teams don't want to give them up, or they're unproven guys and Buffalo doesn't want to do that either.
The Sabres are fairly young. Are there any young guys you feel have a really good chance to crack that lineup this coming season? Any new faces?
Coming out of Rochester, I think if they don't find their top six winger, I think this is the year where maybe you see Isak Rosén step up out of the AHL. I think he's been so good in the AHL the last 2 years for them. Top scorer for the team. Rochester's had they've been a very good AHL team the last few years, and Rosén's been a big part of that. And anytime he's been called up in the past, he's been kind of thrown into a depth role, a third, fourth line role where doesn't really lean into what his strengths are. If you open up a spot in the top six and he's the guy jumping in to take it over, I think you could see some success there. And, he's a former first round pick. He's a first round pick. I forget what year it was, but he's a guy that I think you could see step up in that role. Maybe a Noah Ostlund. I really like his game. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten better defensively. He's a good one. But some of the other guys in Rochester, maybe a little too young. He might be a little bit too young to force them into the NHL. And I know Lindy Ruff's a good coach, but man, having so many young guys that are just that would be just learning the NHL, it's really tough on him because he's a tough coach and he goes hard on the guys. And if you have to kind of ease guys into it, he's not going to have the patience for it.
Joe, great stuff, man. We'll be watching. Sounds like this trade is getting close. It's been talked about for a while, and lots of teams interested. So I'm interested to see what the return will be for Bowen Byram. And are you like, is $9 million realistic? Do you think someone's going to pay him $9 million? That seems pretty high.
It does seem high, but I mean, look how high the cap's going, and look at the demand for young defensemen. I know it seems weird now because they're having not a hard time trading them, but it's taking a little bit maybe longer than everybody wants. But that's the trend now. I don't know who his comps would be because I don't know who's made it to that point yet. But that's where things are headed. I know that getting guys like Donnelly and Power signed a couple of years ago, and people are like, that's a lot of money. It looks pretty good now.
Joe, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Happy Independence Day. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Joe Yerdon from the Bleacher Report. So the Buffalo Sabres, that's one of the bigger stories right now. Also, filing for arbitration. The deadline is tomorrow. So we could hear. And now, if a player doesn't do it, the team then has the next day, and they could, if they choose, file for arbitration. So I would think, Mason McTavish, I think he's our, well, I got to look at, maybe he might not even be our rights, but you look at Anaheim, they got two good young RFAs in Dustal and McTavish. They got boatloads of cap space. Doesn't mean they want to waste it all on two guys, but I'm very interested about the Dustal contract and what they would sign him for and potentially what they'd be interested to sign him for, because he's clearly the starter now in Anaheim. Quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for three-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motosports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Batshaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Batshaw Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BatshawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd? Get the triple play. 3 large specialty or a 5-topping pizza for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.345. Welcome back. Positive Friday. Lots to get to. You got Riverhawks home tonight, tomorrow, Sunday afternoon. You got the Stingers Sunday at 4 at Expo Center. And then you got the Elks Sunday at 5 at Commonwealth Stadium at PlayAlberta.ca field. So good luck to all those. If you're going, good weekend. I know lots of stuff to do outside. Weather is pretty good. Maybe you'll just be watching the Jays tonight or anything else. It's fun. Maybe you'll be hitting refresh for those who love trades in the NHL. Could we have a Bowen Byron trade this weekend? We shall see. Now, the other thing a lot of you doing is probably golf. As we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, over 50 years experience, and they are one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta. Projects with design, build, switchgear replacements, new construction, renovations, and more. That's actionelectrical.net. And to talk a little golf and more, certified PGA Pro is also the pro out at Cattail Crossing. Jason Wawad joins us. Jay, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I think I have to get back to Cattail because you guys have the hole-in-one competition. What's unique, though, you have it on your driving range. You got one of the unique driving ranges because you hit the balls into the water, so you have all the floating balls. But this year you put a floating green out there, and so people, while they warm up, if they want to hit a few balls into it, and if you sink it, you get 10 grand. But if you just land on the green, then you put your name onto the leaderboard. So I know I'm on the leaderboard. I don't know. I haven't been there in 3 weeks, so I've probably fallen down a bit. But how's it going? How close has someone got to the hole-in-one?
You know what? It's been actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. The leaderboard was stacked. Once again, it resets every month. So we're in July now. So it's reset. But in June, the person that hit the green the most was a gentleman. He got a brand new QI35 driver for being the person that hit the green the most in June. And he hit the green 17 times.
What?
So 17 times he hit it. He came back and made sure that he won that leaderboard for that month, and that was great. And then once again, the top 3 on the leaderboard every month come back at the end of the season for a $50,000 hole-in-one challenge, kind of a wrap-up, so to speak. And, they're going to try and sink it for 50 grand. And then whoever gets closest is going to walk away with a membership for next year.
Now, it's playing about, what, 125?
Yeah, it's right in that 125, 123. And then once again, we're looking at wind as well being a factor.
So now how big is the floating green?
It is 16 by 16, so it's not the biggest green in the world.
Oh, geez, that actually it looks smaller when I was, so that actually bigger than I thought. Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah,
All
it's bigger. It's bigger than it looks. Not as easy to get it, but it's just so much fun to come out and just try. You know, as a teacher, I'm actually out here teaching a lesson right now, and it gives us a target. It gives us something to aim at. And once again, we love it. There's so much going on out here. I think we have one of the nicest ranges now around. So, yeah.
You look at now, have guys who go out there, because you guys have set up like, tables to sit down, and, guys have come out there for stags. Like, you can rent it, because I know it's open Thursday to Sunday, but you can rent it for certain times. You want to kind of take out the whole thing. And there's like even a bar out there now.
Yeah. So we have a C-Can bar out on the range. It's got a rooftop patio that you can come sit, have some beverages. You can also order food out here. We have a menu. We have some great VIP booths that you can book at cattailcrossing.ca. You can go and book those. They have fire tables with them. So just a great atmosphere. We've had lots of our men's night, our ladies' night. We've had businesses out here doing team builders. We've booked some stags as well. A bunch of guys want to come down, book a couple fire tables for their stag. Once again, the girls are out here serving as well, food and drinks. And it's just been a great time so far this year.
All the water we've had helping the course?
Absolutely, yeah. Our course, just in general, has never been in as good a shape. And the range is actually in good shape where the balls are floating because of all the water we've got as well.
Jason, I work over at Oilers Nation, and we have an argument going with one of our dim-witted colleagues who thinks he could stand at a typical par 3 tee box with 24 hours, and he thinks he could get a hole-in-one, given an unlimited amount of balls. And I'm just wondering,
the guy just did that in Calgary. It took him 54 hours.
54 hours? A guy stood at the same tee box, kept hitting the entire time, no sleep?
I don't know if he went sleep or not, but he was there for 54 hours.
That's very, very impressive. The odds are, I think it's in the 1 in 400,000, or maybe it might even be 4 million. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, the odds of getting a hole-in-one are not great. I do a lot of beat the pros. And I guess if you're hitting at the same pro with the same condition, the same hole, same condition, same distance, you can start to gather a little information, but it's a pretty difficult feat.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
They say if you look online, they say the average golfer is 12,500 to 1. So that means if you look at that means you'd have to take 12,000, just on average, 12,500 swings to get it.
Yeah.
Well, and I said to him, because I'm smarter than he is, that fatigue would kick in.
Fatigue's going to kick in for
like
sure.
After 2 hours of swinging, your arms are getting. So you would say then, Jason, that it is an impossible feat for an everyman like him to achieve.
Yeah, yes. With the amount of now maybe I'm just not a great golfer, but with the amount of beat the pro holes that I've done in the last couple of years, I've been close. Like I've hit the side of the hole, hit the pin a couple times, but yeah, still I've taken a lot of shots, and I think the frustration would start to set in. That might be the biggest thing that would derail most golfers. So anyway.
All right. Well, this is a definite Tyler, your MTech, if you're listening.
Yeah, he thought 24. Why doesn't he just go do it? Because trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told him his arms would get tired.
We could do something out at the hole-in-one.
Oh,
we
God.
could come out here and we could pick balls, and our aqua range guy might not be too happy, but
his spaghetti string arms wouldn't last more than 3 hours. There's no chance, right?
I told him
he would start with a pitching wedge. He'd end up being hitting like a 7-iron because he wouldn't have the gumption anymore.
I told him that fatigue would be his biggest problem, and he told me he had a 7-kilometer rollerblade a week ago. So, I don't think he's even operating in reality.
So
different muscles.
Yeah, but rollerblading for 7 kilometers? How is that hard?
I agree. That's why
What's he next going to tell me? Hey, guys, I went for a 10-kilometer bike ride. I'm ready to roll.
He's willing to bet me money he can do it.
Oh, dude, I would do it. Yeah, 100%.
We talked to a CPGA pro, knows more than all of us put together.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
That's very true. Jay, I'm interested about, when you talk about, having something to aim at on the driving range. You mentioned that because there are a lot of people who go to the range. Because I'll be honest, when I went and did it, And then I went and played. I felt I was way more accurate. Like it did the benefit of hitting that, because you're going to buy a bucket of balls anyway. The benefit of actually, like, I had to set, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take every swing. And I found that I played my game way better.
Yeah.
I don't think
you know
it's
what?
me.
Yeah, no, it's not. As a teacher, that's the first thing I tell my students, and we're actually just doing that right now out here on the range, is that we need to have a target. And so what this green in the middle of our floating range does is it gets people lining up their club face, lining up their feet, lining up their body more consistently than if you're just kind of aimlessly hitting balls on the range. And so to have that target is unbelievable. We've got a drone too if you need verification. All our girls out here fly the drone, so if you think you get it in. And then once again, it's just that competition, being on the leaderboard. You got a great opportunity to win some prizes. And you know what? We all love that competition when it comes to golf.
So it's Thursday to Sunday. Do you have to sign up in advance, or just show up?
If you want to book one of the VIP bays, you can do that on our website at Cattail Crossing. Just so you have that table. It comes with balls as well. You can do that. Or if you just want to drop in, you can do that as well. And you just come out to our C-Can bar here, and you can purchase the balls. They're 5 balls for $10, 15 for 20, or 30 for 30.
All right, Jay, thanks so much, man. Have a great long weekend.
You're welcome, Jay. You have a good long weekend too. Talk to you soon.
There you go. It's Jason. Check it out at Cattail. They have the floating island. It's about $125 out, and you get 16 by 16, $10,000 hole in one. And if you hit the green and you're in the leaderboard, then you get to go for the month. You get to go back at the end of the season for a chance to win 50 G's. So. I honestly, I could not believe how much better I hit the ball, because it's true. Normally when you go on the driving range, like, you loosen up and you're hitting a ball and, oh yeah, it looks good. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to aim for 150, but you're kind of, sometimes you're more worried about, oh, I think I hit it good. Meanwhile, it's left or right. But when you had to aim right there all the time, and I will tell you, it is addicting, because you hit it, you're like, oh yeah, it's good. Oh, and then it splashes like half a foot away from the thing. I'm close, right? So it didn't. I found my game was better early on, for sure. I was sitting I got on the team, like, what is going on here? Like, I'm hitting, I wasn't shanking anything, I wasn't chunking anything.
Going to the driving range used to be like penance for playing bad golf.
Yeah.
And now there's a container bar with a rooftop patio. Like, yeah, I'm going to the range. You haven't hit a ball all day. No, I've been out here all day having some margs.
Yeah, it's true. That is very true. So, yeah, I saw that some YouTuber did that in Calgary. So Tyler Remchuk's idea is out the window.
So I'd be interested to know if he actually was awake the entire time. Because to me, at some point
you need to sleep, right? Yeah. Otherwise, you're like, there's no chance, right? Like, you're not just going to keep swinging and swinging. Eventually, what would happen is your body for the next few days would just be junk, because you've overused the same muscle over and over and over again on just one side of your body. All right, unless you're an ambidextrous swinger and you can, you hit right for an hour, then you hit left for an hour. Most golfers, I don't know if you can hit both ways or not, but I'm guessing you could do it.
There was a golf pro who used to do 24 hours of golf at Victoria. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that was an amazing physical feat to go for 24 hours. And by the end of it, he's not advancing the ball like he was at the beginning.
No.
So to think that you could sit there in a tee box and just hit shot after shot.
Yeah, like, I know the theory is, well, if I'm on the green and I know exactly where it is, I'm like, dude, you're not that good of a golfer. Like,
exactly.
I think he said he's a 9 handicap. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Like, so even if now he's not a professional, so good golfers are 1 in 12,500 chance, and professional golfers are closer to 1 in 2,500.
That's it.
Yeah, but that they actually they did studies on the odds. Higher handicappers have made more holes in one. Like, I remember the only hole in one I've ever seen live was at a golf tournament at Blackhawk, and it was on hole number 8. So, that's that par 3, and it kind of goes downhill right before number 9. Number 9's that real dog leg left. So 8, we're playing. It was pretty sure it was a Boston Pizza one. And this guy, who's not a very good golfer, he literally sculls it, and because it rolls down on the rough, right, onto the green, it just tracks in. And like, the guy almost passed out because he's not that very good of a golfer. And when he called his wife to say once, she didn't believe him because he won a truck.
Really?
Oh yeah.
If you get in a corporate tournament, that's huge.
Oh yeah, you want a vehicle, but that's the only one. Like, we were the group behind him. We're watching. I was like, and you see it, and because when he hit it, the guy's like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden the guy's like, oh no, it's still going. And now you could see it because now it's rolling onto the green, and it was just tracking perfectly. You're like, oh my god, that might go in. That might go in. It went in. It was nuts, and people going crazy for him. So good for him. So they say that higher handicappers on average are ones who have, there's more of those people than there are low handicaps. So maybe that's a factor in it. But yeah, there was I read an article a long time ago that said higher handicappers actually have more of them because, it's so luck and random where you see people shank one and it hits a rock, that's 30 feet off the green, bounces onto the green and goes in.
I was with my coworker at the Nation, Jay Downton. He got a hole-in-one when we were juniors. Like 6:30 at night playing
How
after
old
school.
are you? Like 15?
Yeah, maybe close to like 17, 18. But legit got a hole-in-one. We were all shaking. We all had to call our parents and tell them what we saw. It was very exciting.
Yeah.
Hole-in-ones, you can play your whole life, be a good golfer, and never get one. Never.
Right. The closest I got was about 6 inches at the ranch on
Really?
14. Yeah.
On 14.
Yeah. So that was it. Never. And really, you say, but it's 6 inches really isn't that close at the end of the day because it didn't go in. Like, who cares? It's either in or it's not in. So you don't get bonus points. I wasn't in a tournament that was closest to the pin, so I'm getting nothing.
I holed out on a par 4 from about 180 yards. I was so disappointed.
Oh, see, I did one of those. I actually, I got a 2 on a 4 on 18 at Goose Hummock because I was playing a match against my buddy Hutch.
From the fairway, you hold out.
Yeah, 144 yards.
What a waste! I was mad,
but no, I was still pretty happy. But the thing was, when you shot it, and I was playing with Hutch, and at the time, the pro, and I've told that story about him. Probably one of my favorite stories ever. And so anyway, we're playing a match, Hutch and I was down by 1. And so I'm like, okay, just got to get on the green here, give myself a chance. And so I hit him like, oh, that feels good. And where the green was, just where you stood in the fairway, you could see it, but it was kind of curved. So you'd think, well, it rolls off. So I look at him like, oh yeah, it'll be on there. So I get to the green and I'm like, what the hell's my ball? So I don't even think that it's in the hole because I've never jarred one out. So we walked around for about 5 minutes. And then my buddy Matt walks in. He's like, and he picks it up. He's like, it's in the hole. So it's kind of anticlimactic, but I won the hole. And so yeah, that was great. So it's not a hole-in-one, but it was pretty sweet to jar it from 144.
Totally. That's how I feel about mine. I think I was hitting like a 5-iron, and that's a very low percentage hole-in-one. I was so mad I wasted it on a par 4. Livid.
So yeah, but you're like what, 200 yards?
Yeah, about 185 yards, if I remember correctly.
Still pretty good.
That's still crazy, but I'd prefer to do it in the Boston Pizza Tournament and win an El Dorado or something.
No, that would be better. No question about it. Wonder how many people out there. Hey, guys, I know a guy who has 16 holes in one. One with Pasquin last year. What? 16, John? How many? Like, the guy's got to golf a ton. 16?
That's almost a whole round of holes in one.
Yeah, that is. But 16, that's crazy. Hey, guys, my buddy got a hole-in-one, complete fluke. He thought he missed the green short, but it landed up a hill and rolled in. We didn't know until we walked up and looked in the hole. They gave him a plaque. Originally, they weren't going to, but all 4 of us vouched it happened from Lance. I mean, they weren't going to. Well, I guess, see, that's the thing. Like, you'd kind of have to be a real low-level douche to fake a hole-in-one amongst your group. Hey, Bob got a hole-in-one, it's some random course.
For no prize, just for fake bragging.
Just to say it. Yeah, we want a plaque because he got it. Like, that would be the worst. I don't know. Maybe someone's done it, but that'd just be bad for him. Quick break. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Summer's calling. The road is ahead. You want it to be open, not closed with you on the side of the road. Tire checks, oil changes, alignment, and brake inspections. They do it all. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
A 5 p.m. kickoff on Sunday and CFL tonight. We'll see Hamilton and Toronto at 5:30. After 9 seasons in the NHL, forward Christian Fischer has announced he has retired from professional hockey at the age of 28. Finals from the MLB earlier today was the Sox over the Nats 11-2, Reds beating the Phillies 9-6, Cubs beating the Cards 11-3, and the Yankees-Mets in a close one saw the Mets win 6-5. Action right now sees 2 games, the Rays and Twins in the top of the 7th, with the Rays leading that one and the Mariners leading the Pirates 4-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Jays will be in action at 5:07 against the Angels, where they're playing host Eric Lauer on the mound. for the club. Riverhawks, they'll play down tonight against Nanaimo, Remax Field, 7:05 first pitch, and the Edmonton Stingers playing this Sunday at the Expo Center at 4 versus the Calgary Surge. They won't play again at home until August 1st. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Out on the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chat Ave and 118th.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today. Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Alberta is already the economic engine of Canada, but we could be so much more prosperous if Ottawa would work with us, rather than attack our economy and jobs. The status quo needs to change, but how? The Alberta Next panel wants to hear from you on how we can best strengthen Alberta's sovereignty and position within a united Canada. Please visit alberta.ca/next and tell us what you think Alberta's next step should be. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolls on. How are you? Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger on a busy Friday. The Elks, of course, taking on the Red Blacks on Sunday. Man, they could use a win. And that, you know what? Then all of a sudden they got a home game again. You stay at home. You got practice time. You're all in a good mood. And who knows? Then they got the BC Lions. Both teams would have one win apiece. At that point, would be a huge game a week this Sunday if they could get a win. It would be massive. So see how it goes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hope you are having a lovely Friday. Big plans for the weekend. We got the 2-minute warning coming up, but first we're going to talk a little bit about the Elks. Of course, Declan Kruger, host on Elks Nation podcast. You can check it out on all your socials. Check it out on YouTube as well. And Deck, I want to get your thoughts on the keys on what you need to see defensively from the green and gold on Sunday.
Well, listen, Ottawa is not some offensive juggernaut of a team. They don't have a good offensive line. They don't move the ball particularly well through the air, I don't think. The one thing that this Elks defense has really, really struggled with to this point in the season is getting penetration from the defensive line. Like this is a lot of big name players with a lot of heavy price tags who have a really good reputation. And they have not been able to get any penetration. Like I said, they've not been able to get to the backfield. They have one quarterback sack from their starting lineup, and it's those things that need to be better. Like these little things become the big things. This is one of my favorite things to say: getting penetration, getting into the backfield, gap responsibilities. That's what I want to see from this defensive front.
Declan, I'm going to my first Elks game of the season on Sunday. Can you speak to me, a civilian, about what I can expect without talking about slant passes and NCAA teams from 3 years ago that I might not know? Just talk to me like the everyman. Why should I be excited to go on Sunday?
It's great football and it's a great time. Like, I think one of the big things that people a perception of the CFL that works against them is that it's this subpar product. And that's not the case. This is incredible football. These are incredible athletes. Like, people will have no problem watching NCAA teams play, and they'll have no problem watching these NCAA athletes go on to the NFL. And they don't realize that if they don't go to the NFL, you have a handful, and in a lot of cases larger than a handful, of guys going into the CFL and playing there. And for some reason, the NCAA is this great football, and it's feeder for the NFL. But as soon as those guys get better and then go to the CFL, they act like it's an issue. So it's great football for one, but two, it's a great time, man. Like, there is nothing better than live sports. There's nothing better than being in that environment. It's a very social environment. The Elks they do a great job of making it very fan friendly. A lot of ways to get involved if you're a fan there, and they make it a really comfortable environment.
And if you're there, well said, if you're there on Sunday and you want to come say hi, come to see the Elks Nation section.
Section B.
See you there. Be there or be square.
Elks Nation section B.
Elks Nation has a section?
You're darn right.
Oh, section B. Ooh.
Started as 10 seats. We're already at 14.
And a real cool thing we're doing with Elks Nation, we're going to have our social media people out there. If you're a fan of the Elks, they're going to do a little video of you.
Yes.
Why you've become a fan, like what got you into the Elks, what keeps you a fan, things you like to see. Very a huge community feel to it, I would say, like getting everybody involved, getting everybody's perspective on the club.
There may not be a lot of people at Elks games right now, but the people who are there are hard.
Loud and proud, baby. They are loud and proud.
Oh, yeah.
Like the absolute hardest core.
I actually still believe that there's quite a few fans in Edmonton and an area, and they're, they're a little beaten down. I understand it. Kind of reminds me of the Oilers in 93 to 96, where, there's lots of empty seats, and then they got a new owner, right? And then things started to come back. And that's, it doesn't happen overnight. It obviously will help with some wins. They've got, I think, some talent on this team. I agree with Declan's assertion for the D line. Like the fact they only have one sack, like I'm sorry, and not a boatload of pressures. We've talked. I think their corners have been too passive and not the players, just the scheme. I don't like how much they play off the ball. I thought the third quarter against Winnipeg was one where you said, okay, because I'm sure they were disappointed with their first half in Winnipeg because the Bombers just kind of walked up and down the field on them. And that third quarter, if I'm JC Sherritt, man, I am showing guys, here's the template. I know you can do it. And Ottawa comes in now. If they get Brown back, and it sounds like it will, he's a pretty damn good quarterback, but their O-line is banged up. They've been getting murdered. Hence, their quarterback's been getting murdered in their last few starts. So this is a game where you're going to have to bring some pressure. And I hope they not only bring pressure, I hope they press up a little bit more on the receivers. That's what I would do defensively. Deck, what about offensively for the green and gold and what you see against this Red Blacks defense?
Well, just really quickly, talking about the defense and getting into a little bit more press coverage looks. They tried it twice and they got beat by Wheatfield and Nick Dembski. And really, it was just two good plays. And they saw those two scheme wise and got away from it really quick. But Devontae Bynum on Wheatfield's touchdown was right there. All he had to do, get his head around. He can make a play on that ball. And then Jalen Garnes, it was his first game starting. Like Nick Dembski is just one of the best receivers. Like he made a play on that ball. It was a little underthrown. Nick Dembski made a play on it. Like there's not too much you can do on that play. You look at them and you're like, okay, 2 touchdowns, but really, I don't think it was that poor. And I think the man coverage was
and I don't
much better.
I don't think you can just shy away from it because
I agree. I agree. And I think that's what they did. I think they saw those 2 plays and said, oh, not working. When in reality,
yes,
I don't want to call them 2 fluke plays. But those were 2 pretty perfectly executed plays by Winnipeg. You're not going to bat 1,000 every time, you're running into press coverage.
Yeah.
Now, offensively, the one guy who has to get more involved for me is Curly Giddens Jr. I've liked the way they've ran the ball. He in 12 quarters, he has been absent for 11 of them. It was garbage time the fourth quarter against Montreal when he really exploded. And we made the point on Elks Central last Friday that he, in the fourth quarter of the Winnipeg game, was mentally checked out. Banana Land was not looking at balls, was not putting any effort into his routes. Like it just was heading towards the tunnel. It basically looked like, and this is the guy who has the highest price tag in that receiving core. I do think the talent is very good all the way around with Stephen Dunbar. I like Zach Mathis a lot, Keon Julian Grant. Like I think good talent is there, but I think it needs to start with Curly Giddens Jr. because he is the number one guy, or should be. He's the perceived number one guy with the biggest price tag. And when you have a guy like that, when you have a young, relatively inexperienced quarterback in Trey Ford, like you need your sure-handed number one guy to be there to help out your quarterback.
Oh, he's got to be way better.
The other thing that I think they've been doing better as the games have progressed is they've been committed to the run game. Trey is making the right reads in read options. Like me and Eddie had some issues with that, or not issues, but we had some questions with that. Is he going to be a guy who makes the right read in read options, or is he going to be a guy who looks to make a flash play? He has been making the right reads. He has been reading the ends. He has been reading when the Mac and the Sam collapse. He's been doing it very well. So I want to see that. And I just think when they go stick with the run game, they sustain drives. People talk about wanting to see this Elks offense airing out the ball, and I get that, but I still don't really think of Trey Ford as some deep bomb 70-yard passer all the time.
To be honest, Dak, I don't think they got a receiver who's a great deep receiver.
That's a huge part of it as well. You can't, a tiger's not going to change his stripes. You can't. What's your phrase? You can't whip a donkey and tell it it's a horse or something.
No.
Like that?
I'd rather tame a stallion than whip a donkey.
I like the thing about not whipping a donkey. But my point being is that yes, you need these soft, safe routes to get your quarterback involved in the game. You need to have him comfortable. And like I said, people want to talk about them airing the ball out all the time. If you air the ball out 2 plays in a row and go 2 and out, which we've seen quite a fair bit, all of a sudden you have a defense that I don't think your offense necessarily trusts going back out onto the field. And they constantly are in this cycle of believing they have to play catch up. So like I said, sustain drives with the running game, those short looks where Trey's comfortable. And I thought, again, that Winnipeg game, I thought Jordan Maksimic did the best job of scheming up plays that Trey could be the most comfortable in. And I thought they found success with it early. Like their first or second drive, technically, I guess, it was a great drive.
Yes.
They marched right down the field. Looked great. Now, Winnipeg came right back down, made it look a little too easy, and things started to spiral from there. But I think those are the things you need to do with Trey in that receiving core.
Well, I look at that first half, Rankin's fumble, and normally he doesn't fumble the ball like that. Like there's fumbles where, you go into a pile and a guy really hammers you. Okay. That fumble by Rankin, I was like, I'm like, how does he fumble the ball there? To me, that was just a lack of focus. And then
he also ran into 3 defenders.
Yeah. And then the drop touchdown.
Yep.
Think about even if Rankin just holds onto the ball, that's another field goal.
Yes.
Right. So they would have had another touchdown. Could have been a tie game at the half just from that. And they would have been right in there. And I think mentally it helped. Now the third quarter, they played well. The fourth quarter, I think Winnipeg's, 5 consecutive trips to the Grey Cup, their experience seemed to come to the forefront a little bit more. I've liked the return game. I'll say that. And the kicking game, the good news for the Elks, their kicker in practice, he never misses, but he got into the game and he those two, every one of his kicks was perfect, right? There's none that he was just, cutting in. He got rid of the shank to the left. So I think, their special teams is going, they need their defense, I think, to not only get some stops, but try to create some turnovers early.
Yes. No interceptions for that DB group, which I think is really good. No pass breakups either. That's pretty, that's damn near crazy through 3 games. So you gotta start winning the turnover battles, or at least getting takeaways.
Yes.
One final question I had, Declan. I noticed that Drake's clothing line, October's very own, put out an Elk shirt. I'm just wondering your thoughts on the collabo.
I think it's great. Drake is a guy who is a incredible Canadian ambassador for whether it be the Raptors, or that's, I guess, generally speaking, his team, but a Canadian superstar in the truest sense of the word. So to see him get behind the CFL and to see OVO's marketing brand get behind the CFL, I think shows how much faith a guy like that has in it. And I think it's awesome. And I think you should probably buy me one.
I was going to get a Gretzky OVO.
Okay.
And I got distracted. And when I went back, the whole thing had sold out.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that story.
Well, that's the power of the OVO marketing brand.
Don't sleep on the Elks one.
You're going to get me one, right?
Well, we'll find out.
All right.
We'll find out.
OVO?
October's very own is the acronym, yeah.
All right.
I can see you on the rocks wearing one, Gregor.
Are they super form fitting?
Just t-shirts.
Oh, they're just t-shirts?
Yeah, they just say Elks and 12 Grey Cup championships.
Oh, all right.
It's cool, though.
That is actually it's very smart.
Yeah.
I'm sure the kids are all over it.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, I'll be going to the Elks game, sitting in the crowd. My son's pretty fired up. He likes the Elks game. So we'll be going on Sunday. And we'll come back. Craig Button will join us next. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, the daily $60 million tonight for the Lotto Max. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. It's easier now than ever. Of course, I got the all-new app. Download it. Use the app, PlayAlberta.ca. Or the app.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at The Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will Float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Grab your hard hat and huddle up. Your Edmonton Elks take on the Ottawa Redblacks this Sunday at 5. It's the first ever hard hat huddle game, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger, featuring excavators and diggers in the tailgate and construction-themed in-game contests. Tickets start at just $20. Score yours now at goelks.com.
Ah, summer. The sun's out, the road's calling, and your car said, nope. Don't let your summer road trip turn into a roadside nap. Swing by Napa Auto Parts. Napa has the trusted tools, smarts, and quality parts for all your automotive needs this summer. Get your vehicle ready for the road and just in time for your kids to start testing your patience and sanity.
Are we there yet?
With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
For 25 on a positive Friday. Hope you are having a fantastic day. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Download the app if you haven't. Easier, quicker, more effective. Download the app today and use the promo code Gregor50. Get a free $50 play. PlayAlberta.ca or through the app. We're going to check in with Craig Button here momentarily, but while we wait to that, we're going to get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you want to work for a fantastic company, legacyheating.ca. Hiring bonus. You'll get matching RSPs. You get tuition reimbursement and a very competitive wage. Great benefits at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, a longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. Is in a wheelchair. His disability has allowed him to be a great writer for a long time. He always wanted to be in radio, but through the wonders of technology, he gets to do it now. And on Fridays, he wants me to read Cam's 2-minute warning as it comes to life. So here we go. Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning. Consider this to be a warning if you frequent West Edmonton Mall. If someone asks me one more time, one more Declan Kruger, if I think Connor McDavid is going to re-sign with the Edmonton Oilers, I'm going to call the cookie truck. Yes, the cookie truck. Otherwise known as the dedicated accessible transit service. And get me a ride to West Edmonton Mall. Wheel myself into Stingray Studios because, nobody invites me to come in to see the new studio. And when I get to Stingray, I'm going to find you, Gregor. I'm going to get out of my buggy and I might call it my wheelchair. and ask you to get in, and then I'm going to push you, Jason, in the mall. Oh, yes. And Jason, don't worry. The buggy comes with a seatbelt. And Jason, you thought driving a self-propelled swather was quite the ride? Well, go into the mall, run into people, roll over mall displays, and make people look at us. And here's the trick. Jason, I know you would want to use your hands to stop the wheels. It ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm giving you a sign. And the sign will say, Connor McDavid isn't going anywhere, because he's not. So please stop questioning it, please. As you, Gregor, have asked, where's he going to go to win a Stanley Cup? The answer, of course, is Florida Panthers. If you think even for a new rep the second he's going there, please, for the love of Mike, by the way, who the hell is Mike? Stop. Listen, I get it's an information age out there where everybody has a platform and an opinion. Call me old school, washed up newspaper guy. But on a big story that you chase, like the McDavid story, you keep on it, of course. There is not a pay attention, Christopher and Matthew. Anything new? You do something our society's trouble doing. Sit and wait. That's how you build credibility. Connor McDavid will sign in Edmonton, so please stop asking. And save Gregor some gray hairs. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, Gregor Show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sports 1440. Tate, are you really going to let me ride in your wheelchair? That's really all that that's all I could think about as I was reading that. Unbelievable. More so, I did take Tater the other day when the Stanley Cup final was here, and I had to, we were in a little bit of rush, so I pushed him around, and I told Tater, I said, buckle up. Oh, he's got such a good sense of humor, and he was dying laughing. So, oh, man, if I can get someone to wheel you around the mall, I'm all in, Tater. I just maybe get one of those electrical ones, right? Like you could be Costanza. Why don't we get Tater one of the Costanzas? Right? Remember when they're racing on the street? I don't even know what those ones are called, but oof, those are classics. We get Tater one of those, maybe. Wheel around even quicker. But I don't disagree with them. I think and I'll say this, you know what? Our audience is like, yeah, most Oiler fans, I think, are pretty calm about it. Because here's the truth. Worst case scenario is he plays one more year in Edmonton. That's worst case scenario, right? It can't be worse than that. He's not going to get traded. So right? This would be his last year in Edmonton. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it's an 8-year deal.
Let's not even discuss that worst case scenario.
Yeah, but I'm just like, that's the reality of it. So you're not going to die if he leaves, but I don't expect Connor McDavid to leave Edmonton. Not right away. Now, will his next contract be shorter than 8 years? Yeah, I believe it will be. Right? Because there's a reason, like a lot of the big name guys, like the top end players of their position, are going to realize, you know what? Hey, the salary cap's really going up. So I could see Connor McDavid 4, 5, 3-year deal. And you know what? That just means the organization, you're always asking the managers to be better. Well, this will force them to stay on their toes. So you should actually look at it as a good sign, in my opinion. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Check out hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. Craig Button from TSN, Stanley Cup winner, former GM and scout in the NHL, now ace analyst and scout for TSN, joined us one final time, and I'm sure he's got his cowboy hat on. He's ready to roll. Butts, are you all ready for the Stampede?
Well, I'm here. I volunteer at the Stampede, and we're having our kickoff meeting at 5 p.m. So I'm here. I'm on the grounds. Now, I got to tell you this, Jason, and before I get to your comment about Connor McDavid, but I was in Milan last night for the Springsteen concert. Okay. Flew back today, so I've gone from Springsteen in the pit to Stampede kicking with cowboy boots. How does it get any better than that?
Well-versed, Butts. Well-versed. Now, when you're volunteering, what's your volunteer role at the Stampede?
I'm a subs there. We run food tours for groups of 15 to 40 people. So we introduce them to the best foods on park.
Oh, all right. So how many shifts you doing? You do that every day in Stampede?
No, well, we have a couple. We have a food tour group, and then what we do, ours is a little bit bigger. We have the smaller one. So about 4 or 5 days. That's about it. But we run it from 11 to 1:15 in the morning, because then people go to the rodeo.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then that's when you throw. Now you're wearing a cowboy hat and you got the cowboy boots. You got your super tight Jason Strudwick jeans on the entire time, don't you?
You know it. In fact, I think Struddy should start his own brand of jeans. They should be called Struddy hockey jeans.
Oh, God, they would be classics. I want to get your thoughts on Bowen Byram. We hear the Calgary Flames are a team that's interested in him, Craig. Vegas, obviously there's teams interested in him here. Like, you're the Buffalo Sabres. Like, I thought they really won the trade when they traded him for Middlestad. I thought that was a big win for them. They can't lose this trade because then it's like, well, basically we just wasted 3 years by getting him. We didn't really gain anything because we didn't go anywhere in the playoffs, and now we're going to lose him. Like, this is a key trade here for Mr. Adams.
Yeah, well, let's rewind that a little bit. So the Buffalo Sabres, the Colorado Avalanche get lucky. They get Byram at 4, right?
Yep.
He's a part of their Stanley Cup team. Chris McFarland made a terrible trade.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible trade. He
I
traded Bowen Byram for Casey Middlestat to try to replace Kadri. Like, good luck with that. And then now he's turned then he turns Middlestat into Charlie Coyle, who he's traded to Columbus for nothing. Like, you talk about trying to make your team worse. That's how managers lose credibility with their players, because they're sitting there going, like, how does that? And I think Chris is a good manager. There's managers who are going to make trades that, you know, you look back on and go, why was I thinking that? But it was a horrific trade for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, to your point about Kevin Adams, I mean, this is a coveted player at an age where any team getting him knows they're going to have him for 9-10 years. Yeah. So you have to max out on the return for Bowen Byram. You have to. And that's why Kevin said he'll match any offer sheet, because he doesn't need draft picks. And so you go get 3 first-round draft picks. Well, that'll help you in 5, 6, 7 years. You know, and the teams going after him are teams that are probably going to be picking low. So at the end of it all, you know, if Kevin wants to trade him, it is going to have to be something where he can go, I really improved my team here. He can't just trade him for the sake of trading him.
And if you look at Calgary, do you think realistically, like, they have anything that would entice them enough to do it? And what did you? And then second, I'll actually do that, and then I'll ask you another question on the Flames. So, do you think they have the right pieces?
Well, I think that, you know, you look at a couple of things. Okay, I don't know where they're at with Rasmus Anderson, but Kadri, it could be the piece. Could be the piece for the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, they're looking to build out. They have lots of good defensemen. So the only reason I think they're looking to move a player like Byram is because they feel pretty good about their strength on the blue line. So I think that now where do you want to strengthen yourself? You want to become harder to play against. You want somebody that can produce points in the center ice position. I think they'd like to get Thompson over to the wing. I think they feel he might be a little bit better winger. Well, who's the fifth? The fifth's Kadri.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I see. I don't think it's Rasmus Anderson, even though he's going to be moved. I just don't know when he'll be moved. I don't think it's because Buffalo has to feel that they can have a player for a period of time.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Giving him away for Rasmus Anderson, all that does mean is, well, now we're going to trade Rasmus Anderson at the deadline, because I don't see Buffalo as a playoff team. Right. So that doesn't really help you at all. What about the Kevin Ball contract?
Well, they're betting on Kevin Ball Kevin Ball was a good player last year for their team. And when he was out for a little stretch of time, I think they really felt it. But this is what's going on now. I mean, the prices are going up, and with the salary cap going up, you were just talking about Connor McDavid before he jumped on. I mean, this is the reality of it, that now you're trying to bet on players that you feel can settle into an important role. I mean, at that price, he's going to have to be a really good second pair defenseman, kill penalties, be big and heavy and hard, and do those things. They're betting that he'll be able to do that for a number of years, and the price that they get in a couple of years will be really valuable, and then hopefully at the back end it's really good. That's the bet you make. The Buffalo Sabres, back to the Sabres, that's the bet they made on Matthias Sanderson.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't worked out very good.
Yeah, do you think that was just a down year for him? You think he can bounce back, or you see some major concerns in his game?
He was injured. I think he can bounce back. I like Matthias, but I was just trying to give an example of the bet, right? And the bet you're trying to make him. And when Matthias signed it, people are going, "Oh, I can't believe he signed it." Listen, and Jason, you go back to this. Josh Morrissey signed his contract with the one he's on right now with the Winnipeg Jets. Go back and read the commentary on it. Oh, not a good contract. Go back and read a couple years into it. Oh my God, this is a bad contract. Now it's a great contract.
Yeah. Hey,
so
Greg.
I get careful about some of the outside commentary, and when I say outside commentary, this whole idea about the contract and the value. I mean, the team is putting a lot of thought into these, and some of them work out way better than others. Don't get me wrong. But, just because a guy has a bad year, to your point, doesn't mean he's going to have 2 bad years.
Yeah. Hey, I remember when Draisaitl signed his contract and people freaked out about the 8.5. I was like, I actually think this is a really good contract. So, I'll be honest, I never thought he was going to be a Hart Trophy winner and something like that, but I thought he was going to be a really good player. And so, there's lots of those that can pay off. Now there's others obviously that don't pay off.
Yeah. Let me share this with you. Matthew Tkachuk, when he came up for his contract at entry level, the comparable was Leon Draisaitl. The Calgary Flames balked at it. In fact, they pissed Matthew Tkachuk off so much that when it came up time at the end of that 3-year contract, he said, "Get me out of here."
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. You got to read the tea leaves.
Yeah.
And that's the draft has got some unpredictability given these young players. With not a big body of work, these contracts. There's some risk, and you got to understand that there's going to be some risk with it.
Craig Button joins us. Craig, we haven't talked to you since the draft last week. What did you make of it? Anybody did you like certain picks? Like, I know it's hard, but there's certain players. But now that you see a player with an organization, do you see some that are good fits?
Yeah, I one of the things that I look at, Jason, when I look at the draft is I feel that I have a pretty good handle on who develops players right, who can be patient with players. And all the teams are trying to do the right thing by the players, but there's some that just do it better than others. And I think the biggest thing is when I look at players, and I said this, I don't think there's any player from this draft that's ready to play in the NHL. Now, there might be a kid that was drafted that's 20 years old. There might be somebody that murdered. I'm talking about the top end of guys.
Yep.
I don't think Matthew Schaefer's ready. He played 17 games last year in the OHL period and a half in the World Junior. And he's a September birthday.
Yep.
But the NHL's hard. So, and I think the Islanders, the first overall pick, that puts pressure. Like, oh, we got to have him. We got to have him in our lineup. Oh, our fans want to see him, right? So you got to resist that. And I think that when I look at players and I look at where they're at, I think that that like for a Matthew Schaefer, it factors in. I think the Islanders have to send him back. Maybe he goes to college. Now, when you ask me about some of the players, I think in any draft, there's players. The teams boards are the only ones that count. They put a stake in the ground with whoever they've drafted. What I always find interesting is when I hear right after a draft, well, we're going to have him come to camp and we're going to see where he's at. No, you're going to have him come to camp and after 7 days, send him back to where he should be. That's what
100%.
Those are the ones that get me concerned. And you can go read about them. They're out there. Those are the ones that get me concerned. James Hagan saying, I'm ready for the NHL. No, you're not.
No.
You're not ready for the NHL. You weren't quite ready for the NCAA last year, James. What makes you think now you're going to come to the NHL and be ready? So I get it. The players are eager. The players are hungry. Teams are that. But those are the ones that worry me. It's not I'm a big Malcolm Spence fan. I don't know what happened with Malcolm, but I think the Rangers got a terrific pick at 43 with getting him that late. And he's going to Michigan. He's going to take a next step in his career. I mean, I'm just picking out one guy. There's a lot of good players in this draft, and we're going to find out who's going to be good. I will add one more thing. People ask me, and I'll never do it ever, winners and losers. Less than a day after the draft, you're going to pick winners and losers. No. The only losers in that exercise are the ones doing the exercise.
Totally agree with you. I'm like, because all you're doing then is going off of I like this guy before, so now I'm going to stick with it. And the teams that got him, like, hey, guess what? The Islanders are winners. Oh, you mean with the number 1 overall pick? They probably got a good pick. And then they had 3 picks in the top 17. Well, of course, sure. So, that one, it is funny to look at that. Now, what did you make?
I want to go back quickly. I don't want to miss your comment. See, I agree with you 100% on Connor McDavid. Cap's going up big time. Players don't want to leave money on the table. I like the fact that Connor McDavid can put the Edmonton Oilers management feet to the fire.
Yes.
They have power. And, Connor wants to win. We know that. Connor's committed to winning. He's shown that he's top player in the world. And to me, I like that. Like, I'm going to go short term and I'm going to see what you guys do. Because if you're committed to winning, you got to be committed to winning. And you got to see that the management is committed to winning as well. And if not, then you got to consider going elsewhere. That's the cold, hard truth.
Yes. And I think, honestly, if I was an Oilers fan, I'm like, that's what I want. Now your management has to stay fresh. They can't kind of, not that you never would, but I think sometimes maybe you get complacent and you're like, hey, we want to keep this guy here. We want to keep things rolling. The Oilers had the most revenue in the NHL last year. Why? Well, A, they can charge a ridiculous ticket price and people will pay for it in the playoffs, but, jersey sales, everything else. That McDavid guy makes them a lot of money. So they definitely not only spend on him. I really think the Oilers need to stop cutting corners in other areas of their organization, Craig. Like, I think if they're looking at, why would you not invest way more money in a complete in-depth goalie department? Top to bottom, they should have one.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument for me. I mean, because goaltending is a technical position that needs refinement. And and I'm going to use an example. A real good friend of ours, he worked for Ford Motor Company for years, and he designed chassis. He said, you don't just wake up one day and, you have a chassis. There's a lot of testing that goes into it. There's a lot of refinement. That's why I use that word. And there's a lot of technical aspects to building a proper chassis for a vehicle as you try to advance it. It's the same thing with goaltending. So if you want to cheat the engineering process on chassis building, well, go ahead. You're not going to have a very good vehicle. If you want to cheat the goaltending development and refinement process, you're going to struggle.
Yep. Oh, it's totally true. What were your thoughts on the Marner trade and sign and trade, I guess we should call it?
Yeah, well, I think that, we talk about Vegas, hey, they're committed. They've been committed since they came into this league to say we're going after it. I mean, there's going to be pressure on Mitch Marner in Vegas. I mean, people, I read about pressure. Oh my God, he's outside of the bubble of Toronto. The bubble of Toronto, give me a break. You want to go into you know what it's like to play for Bruce Cassidy and Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee and Bill Foley? No, it's not we tried. Oh boy, we're doing everything. It's like you dig in and you deliver. We're paying you $12 million. So Mitch is going to feel a different kind of pressure there, which is good. I think Mitch will handle it well. Quite frankly, they maligned Mitch Marner. They ran him out of there. And they're going to wake up 10 games into the season, 5 games into the season, and they're going to go, oh my God, what did we do? And I think that, even during, they talk about, Matthews gets back to 60 goals. Who do you think was passing him the puck?
Yeah.
Who do you think was creating all the offense? And then, even while he doesn't score in the playoffs, he's almost a point-a-game player in the playoffs. But if they're not scoring in the playoffs with Mitch Marner, how are they going to score in the playoffs without Mitch Marner?
Well, yeah.
I think they blundered this big time.
Well, Craig, that leads me to my final question. I love it. So there's a new trend. I'm not sure if you had a chance, because I know you're traveling, man, today to read my article at Oilers Nation, but over the last 3 seasons, every year, at least 3 100-point teams missed the playoffs the following season. 4 in 2022 made it. They missed in 23. Then 3 last year. Of course, the Rangers, the Bruins, and the Canucks, and they all had 114 to 109 points, right? And then they don't just miss the playoffs, Craig. They dropped from anywhere from 16 to 33 points. So there was 9 teams in the NHL last year who had 100 points. You have the Jets, the Capitals, the Knights, the Maple Leafs, the Stars, the Kings, the Lightning, the Avalanche, and the Oilers. You got to pick 3 because the trend says it's going to happen. Which 3 100-pointers from this past season will miss the playoffs next year?
Yeah, that's a good one. Missing the playoffs. I don't think Toronto's an automatic to make the playoffs. I don't think they're an automatic. You think about where Toronto, and I said this last week during free agent frenzy this week, that the Calgary Flames had 96 points. Are we automatically thinking they're going to be good next year? They're hoping they're young players. How are the Toronto Maple Leafs going to be better with the subtractions? So I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are in trouble. I do think they're in trouble. I don't think Washington is in trouble. So the other 100-point teams, I don't think Vegas is in trouble. The LA Kings might be in trouble. I don't like what they did with their blue line. I'll be straightforward with you. I don't like they got big and slow. Big and slow don't play in this league very well. So I'm going. I'll say 2 right now. Kings in the West, Leafs in the East.
Kings in the West, Leafs in the East. All right, Craig, I love it, man. Enjoy the Stampede. Have a lot of fun, and in the summer, and we'll touch base with you again unless a big story breaks next hockey season.
Yeah. I'll send you some pictures.
All right, buddy. Yeah.
Okay. See you, bud.
There you
Thanks
go.
for everything. Appreciate you.
It's always great to have you on. Craig Button from TSN. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. When you look at a pipe, we just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
The Summer Drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
But on the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one. Plus, great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge. Open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Did you wake up this morning and think, I want to be a used RV salesman? If you're like most people, the answer is no. But if you want to sell your quality used RV yourself, then a used RV salesman is what you are.
Welcome to your new job.
That's right, Bob. Put it up on all the best websites. Wait for the phone to ring and be ready day or night, weekday or weekend. Drive out to the storage lot for every random tire kicker who calls and hope that what you have is exactly what they want.
There's an easier way to do this, Rick.
That's right, Bob. You could bring it to No Bull RV. We love selling used RVs, and the customers are already here. Commercials like this, bring them in by the hundreds. All you need to do is cash the check when it leaves our lot. Used RV salesman is not what you wanted to be when you woke up this morning. And if it was, well, I think you better come out here and apply for a job.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Sports radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
The Friday rolls through. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. That's Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Or you can use Summer and you'll get a $100 casino play. PlayAlberta.ca. I like it. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Get the lowest prices on appliances guaranteed. Their biggest appliance sale is on right now. You can save up to $1,000 when you buy 2 or more select kitchen appliances, and up to 60% off clearance appliances that have the scratch or dent on them. In store only, but it's like a minor dent. You get a huge savings. So get it right now in store at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. Elks game this Sunday, 5 o'clock. We talked about the game a little bit earlier, but you guys have a score prediction and a bold prediction for the game.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction, say that the Elks win their first game of the season at home, Declan, in front of a roaring crowd. Score TBD. I can't go that far, but I'll tell you the Elks are going to win.
Well, the Elks, I'm going to go, I haven't picked them to win the last few weeks, so I think they actually will beat Ottawa. And I'm going to say the Elks are victorious 31-23.
Question and bold prediction?
Bold prediction. Punt to return touchdown for Mr. Leak.
Question number 2, what will the changes look like with the Oilers coaching staff and who will be coming in?
Well, Golitzin obviously is gone.
Yeah.
Dustin Schwartz will be out as the goalie coach. I don't know. I think Coffey and Stewart are coming back. That's my suspicion. Now, as far as honestly, like I talked to Kevin Woodley about some goalie coaches and done some research on that one. It depends. We've talked about if the Oilers are committed and hey, you're the number 1 revenue generating team in the NHL. Why are you cutting corners? Go out and this is your time now. Build a pure goalie department. Bring in Ian Clark, Sean Burke, one of those two, and get him to be the top of it and fill it out from there. So that's, to me, that should be the must. The assistant coach, historically, lately, teams like to have another former NHL head coach on staff. It helps. So, Dave Hackstall would be an option. Right. Local guy. Also, he coached with Chris Knoblauch before in Philadelphia. So he's one. There's some other names out there, but not a ton with former NHL experience. So I'll be kind of curious. I don't really have a gauge yet on that. And obviously it's going to be somebody I think that probably is going to work on the power.
What is a full-blown goalie department as opposed to what we have now?
Well, when you have a goalie department, you would have Ian Clark and he oversees everything. And so then usually you'll have 2 goalie coaches below him, right? One in the American League, one with your NHL. So Clark's working with them, but he's overseeing. Now they're doing scouting. You do kind of everything with it. It's not just having one goalie coach, right? It's more of a department. And I guess it would kind of be looked at, how you have a GM and then you got assistant GM and then you got a few others. Well, that's kind of like you'd have a head of director of your goalie department. Now, Ian Clark isn't going to be on the ice every day, right? So that's why you need somebody who aligns with him. You can teach him what you want, right? And then he goes out and instructs it. And there's lots of guys who do that. So that's what I would look at.
Question number 3, Oilers development camp wrapped yesterday. Was there a player, and maybe this is an obvious answer, or players you had your eye on most closely?
I'll be honest, I put virtually no stock into the development camp. I was impressed that Matt Savoy was there. He's obviously the only guy there who has a chance to make the Oilers this year. But I just like the fact that he went there. Now he's a local guy, so it's easy. It's smart to probably get some skating in, work on some other things. But none of the other guys there are close to playing, and that's fine. But so Matt Savoy would be the one.
I'd agree too. I watched the interview with him and Tony Burr. I thought he sounded very mature. He sounded like a leader. I'm getting increasingly excited to see what he brings to the table as an Oiler.
Question number 4, through about the halfway point in the MLB season, who are your AL and NL MVPs? And if Judge and Ohtani are maybe a little too obvious, who are some other guys who have deserve a nod?
Well, I'm going to go with Cal Raleigh. How could, like, in Seattle, you kidding me? The guy's absolutely on fire. He's got 35 dingers, 74 RBIs. He's leading the MLB in OPS. He's been unbelievable for Seattle. Like, just what a great year. But, hey, George Springer, just based on the last week, he's got to get some votes, obviously. I'm kidding. And if I was going outside of Shohei Ohtani, that's a good question. I might go. Who?
PCA's been getting some love.
Yeah, like you got it. Shohei's been really good, but man, Will Smith's had himself a hell of a year too. But maybe I guess I'll go a little bit off the board. I'll go James Wood.
I think it's unfair, Declan, that you put a caveat into the 5 questions after you sent them to press. Like, you didn't say you can't pick Judge and Ohtani. I think the script is written years in advance, and one of the two of them will be the MLB MVP.
Well, I checked the betting odds out of curiosity, and they were pretty heavily skewed in those two's favor. So that's why I wanted to add on let's sprinkle that one on for the listeners.
Aaron Judge, for like the casual baseball fan, I wouldn't even consider myself that. He is just a machine, man.
Dude, he's so big, right? Like, he is massive. Like, 280 pounds, 6'7". Like, he could be basketball player, and he moves, man. Like, he's not 280 and he's rotund and chunky. Like, he is a specimen.
And to have him be against Ohtani, who is also an otherworldly specimen. Like, the MLB has 2 of the greatest stars right now they've probably had in the last 50 years.
100%. Yes. Yeah. No, it is. It's hard not to get excited when you watch those guys play. No question.
And finally, question number 5, 4th of July today. I asked this for Canada today, so I'll ask it now, but change it up slightly. Do you have a favorite American athlete, American city, and a favorite thing that is unique to America? And no is an acceptable answer.
I mean, American athletes, it would pain me to say that I like the Kachuk brothers on some emotional level, but I suppose they would be in the mix. I love San Francisco. I love Silicon Valley and the whole Bay Area. I've been lucky to spend a lot of time down there over the years.
Yeah, you went to nerd camp there.
Yeah, and I had a good time and continue to. But I will say the most unique thing to America, one time, Declan, in Austin, I went to a gun range next to a liquor store in a Texas strip mall. I'm not going to connect all the dots live on the air. But let's just say that the freedom down there is very different, and you can move around between bays in a strip mall. And I couldn't believe that this was a real business. So that was pretty insane.
Favorite American athlete. Oof. That'd be a good question. I guess right now, because obviously there's like, if we're going all time, there's some easy ones for me. Michael Jordan would be at the top of the list. But if I was going right now, favorite American athlete, I would probably go. I really like Joe Burrow, so I go Joe Burrow. And is there anything favorite thing that is unique to America? Well, no. Sadly, right now, a lot of things unique to America are not very favorites for people. But I guess I do appreciate, their nationalism. It's gone too far now, but for a long time, I was like, you know what? Hey, they stood up and were like, hey, we're very good. And Canadians were never like, well, shucks, we're okay. And I think we're getting a little bit, it's okay to say we're good without being a total dick about it. And I think Canadians are starting to find that a little bit. And obviously right now in the US, like, man, there's a lot of internal fighting in that country. I know Canada isn't perfect, but I'm a lot more comfortable here. I'll say that. What about you, Deck?
Athlete, Jimmy Butler. City, Great Falls, Montana. Unique thing to America, their snacks. Their gas station snacks are a little bit, it's a more American.
Great Falls, Montana.
That's the most Declan answer of 2025.
Awesome.
Why do you love Great Falls, Montana more than anywhere else?
It was so peaceful there. I just felt at peace.
Oh, all right. Great Falls.
Check
Montana.
it out. Dope place.
Right now, somebody's listening in Great Falls, Montana on the app, and they're like, this is why I listen to Edmonton radio.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great place. Shout out to Great Falls, Montana. I like it. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. They have the all-new app. Download it now and get the boosted odds for special games in the CFL, MLB, and more. You can play casino games, lottery tickets, and Lotto Max. $60 million tonight. PlayAlberta.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
MLB Finals from earlier. Red Sox over the Nats 11-2. Red Sox beating the Phillies 9-6. Cubs 11, Cardinals 3. Mets winning over the Yankees 6-5. Twins 4 over the Rays. And the Pirates and Mariners in their battle saw the Mariners win 6-0. Just one game in action right now. Rangers and Padres tied at 0. Toronto Blue Jays set to go in about 7 minutes time here as they take on the Los Angeles Angels. Eric Lauer on the mound for that one. Elks in action this weekend against the Red Blacks, second home game of their season. That one's kicking off 5 on Sunday. CFL action will see the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts tonight at 5:30. After 9 seasons in the NHL, forward Christian Fischer has announced his retirement from professional hockey at age 28. Riverhawks, they're in action tonight at home against Nanaimo at Remax Field with a 7:05 first pitch, and the Edmonton Stingers will play this Sunday at the Expo Center, a 4 p.m. game versus the Calgary Surge. They will not play at home again until August 1st. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Alberta is already the economic engine of Canada, but we could be so much more prosperous if Ottawa would work with us, rather than attack our economy and jobs. The status quo needs to change. But how? The Alberta Next panel wants to hear from you on how we can best strengthen Alberta's sovereignty and position within a united Canada. Please visit alberta.ca/next and tell us what you think Alberta's next step should be. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock on a positive Friday as you make your way home. Be safe, enjoy it. Hope you have a great plan this weekend. Maybe you're getting outside. Weather should be decent. You got outside games for the Riverhawks tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday afternoon. You have the Elks Sunday night. You got indoors, the Stingers, who are rolling, winners of 6 of their last 7, taking on Calgary in a great provincial matchup. Elks, Red Blacks, should be awesome. Check it out at playalberta.ca, where I mentioned it yesterday. The Jays, the underdog against the Yankees. Hopefully you listen, because the Jays tonight. Well, guess what? Well, it's a little too late. First pitch already happened, but the Jays were favored tonight, as they should be, at home. Suddenly, first place in the AL East, and now they got to continue it. Hopefully, not a letdown for them after that big series sweep, a 4-game sweep of the Yankees. Now let's get to the spec report, brought to you by GS Construction. They just remind you, on the weekends especially, on a Friday, make your way through construction zones. Be respectful. They want to get home just like you. It's GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
All right, man. Let's get to the weekend. It's Friday afternoon. Let's go.
Should be good. Now, I gave you some homework for yesterday. So we'll see if you did your homework or if you were a typical spec in university, just grinding away at the last 10 minutes before the test. The trend in the NHL spec, it's kind of unique. The last 3 seasons, teams who had 100 points the year before, at least three missed the playoffs the next year. Actually, from 22, 4 of them missed in 23, and then 3 from 23 missed in 24, and then 3 from 24 last year, the Rangers, Boston, and Canucks, who all had 109 to 114 points and then cratered out of the playoff race. And they all missed. Even the Nashville Predators went from 99 points to 68 points. So a big drop. So there's 9 teams in the 100-point category spec last year that would qualify for this drop. You've got the Jets, the Capitals, the Knights, the Maple Leafs, the Stars, the Kings, the Lightning, the Avs, and the Edmonton Oilers. Who would be your 3 and why?
I got to pick 3. Well, first of all, I spend more time at the library than anybody in university, but the library was a bar on 89th Street. By that Max there. We used to go there. You know what? You're making me pick 3. Let's do this. Let's start in the Atlantic, where I think there's some teams that are going to steal some points from the better teams. Like there's 200-point teams, Toronto and Tampa. Toronto had 108 points. I'd love to say I'm picking them because people would freak out, but I think Tampa's core is getting a little older. The wrong injury. I think they're gonna lose some points. Ottawa's better. Montreal is better. They're going to take some points away from them. Boston was the last place team over there. I don't think they're going to be a 76-point team. I think they'll be better. So I'm going to take Tampa in that division. I'm not going to take Washington, even though they totally fill the role. They had the high of the OV chase last year. Do you think that's going to be part of a drop-off, is the fact that probably OV is going to take a step back this year? What do you think?
Yeah, that's Washington, I think, is one. Although I love their coach, and Carberry, I just think finds a way to keep them. But I do think that Washington could still find a way to make the playoffs. I just don't see them, being a 111-point team.
Yeah, well, that's quite a drop. They got to drop 12 points, or they got to drop. They got to drop about 20 points to miss the playoffs. That's a lot. Philly's okay. Pittsburgh's no good. Islanders, meh. Rangers have got to take some points from, but I'm not picking Washington. I'm going to the Pacific because I think my team in the Pacific that's going to improve from 90 points last year is Vancouver. I think Vancouver is going to be better. I think my prediction lies on Thatcher Demko's knee ligaments. So that could be shaky ground, but this is sports radio, so I'm willing to do that. I'm going to say Vancouver is going to take a bunch of points. I think Calgary's going to be better. They're going to take points. And I think Anaheim's going to be better. They're going to take points. And they're going to take it from the LA Kings. I think the LA Kings are going to drop out.
Yeah, well, you know what? They'd be a popular one, especially after their free agency, because there was some people like, man, they like I think Cody Cece's an okay player, but not for 4 years at $4.5 million. I don't. So that was a little surprising to me. And then even Dumoulin, I'm like, what? So we'll see. They got older. Like Corey Perry. God, I love Corey Perry's season, but $2 million base plus a virtual guarantee of 1.5 mil. So obviously they feel he can do it again, but man, that's going to, if he does, that would be unbelievable for Corey Perry to do it at that age. I just think it's asking for a lot. Now you mentioned the Leafs spec that you wouldn't do it, but Craig Button brought up a point. He's like, hey, everyone's like, the Leafs didn't score enough with Mitch Marner. Well, who's going to score without Mitch Marner? And they had if you're a believer in PDO at 5-on-5, Toronto had the third highest PDO last year, which some would say it's a little bit of luck. It's a high save percentage and a high shooting percentage combined. You add the two, and they had the third best. The Oilers, by the way, had the fifth worst, which is why, some would argue that tied for the second worst, that Edmonton is one that's probably their luck will get better. So they should be better. But Toronto, if they don't add another winger here, I could see them being in a little bit of trouble.
Well, it's hard to replace Marner's offense. Like he's a good player. Team Canada player, man. Say what you want about the guy. You lose the trade when you trade the best player. And I mean, it wasn't much of a trade. They got back a fourth line center. So, they got to figure that out. The thing that gets me about Toronto, Jason, is I don't see a legitimate top pairing defenseman on that team, a guy that on a good team would be in the top pair. I don't see one. I see a whole bunch of middle pairing guys. Like Riley, to me, Riley's not a top pairing defenseman anymore. And is he their best guy? I don't know. He might be. So I see a team full of second pairing defensemen, and I see two backup goalies. I think Stolarz has been a backup his whole career. He had a really nice year for sure, but he's got injury issues, and Wall's got even more injury issues. So there's the potential for a lot to go wrong on the blue line and the goal there. I don't love Toronto. To me, they're heading for just another mediocre season. I don't think they're going to be terrible. They ain't winning anything. I just don't see a team there that I look at the East and go, oh boy, there's a team. I don't see that at all with Toronto.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What about what do you make of the Stars, or Colorado? Colorado to me is like they had all these changes last year, but what should we expect from them this season?
I don't know. That's one of the teams I was considering when you talk about teams going from they had 102 points last year. Could they drop out of the playoffs? That's a good question. I always kind of look at it like this, Jay. Are there teams ready on their own division to supplant them? Is Utah that much better that they're going to take a bunch of points away from Colorado? Is St. Louis and Minnesota that much better? I think Minnesota is. I'm not sure, but Colorado's a question mark. I mean, I'll never bet against a team that's got Nathan McKinnon leading the charge. He's just too good a player, man. I think he'll drag that team in the playoffs by himself. How good's Gabe Landeskog, Jay? Is he a full season player here, or did he just play a little bit at the end under the rush of finally coming back? Now that he's going to start the season next year, what's left with this guy? Can he still skate? Can he still help? I don't even know. Do you?
Yeah, it is a challenge for me. I don't really know. There's some question marks there. Now you got McKinnon and McCarr, and it's hard for me to bet against them because of that. But That's why, like, would I have bet the Rangers, the President's Trophy winners, would have cratered out of the playoffs? No. So that's what makes it interesting. When I looked at some of these team spec, and every one of them dropped at least 16 points all the way up to 33. So it wasn't like they, I had 100 points and then I dropped down to 94 and just missed the playoffs. Like they dropped down significant amount of points for all these teams, which makes it wild. And it's a trend in the NHL that, I won't be shocked if it continues, to be honest. I really won't. So.
It's like when you do your playoff pool. Like the history tells us that there's at least 2 upsets in the first round every year. So when you're picking your playoffs, you just have to find the upsets. If you just pick 8 favorites, every year the best you'll do is 5 or 6 right, because there's always upsets. And this is the same thing. If your stats tell you that there's 2 teams are going to fall out, now we got to go find them. And you try to identify that Rangers fold last year. I mean, holy cow. Or even Vancouver. Like 2 years ago, Vancouver won the Pacific in the regular season. They took the Oilers to, they were an eyelash away from Game 7 overtime, man. That was a really good Vancouver team. And last year, does anyone predict that their dressing room implodes? Like, you can't predict that. Nobody sees that coming. So, I think Vancouver's a team that will straighten things out there this year. And I think all that drama will disappear. And that alone's got to be worth 10 points in the standings. So they'll be better, and they'll take some points from the Kings, I think.
Yeah, well, LA to me is a fascinating one. And the other thing about the LA Kings, Darcy Kemper had a 2.02 goals against, that best of his career at the age of 35. His average is 2.54. So now he might, but I look, there's not many years that he was below 2.4 even. So, could he match that again? They lost Gavrikov. I know they brought in Dumoulin and Ceci, but they're not Gavrikov. So, and I just wonder if the LA Kings are going to be like, and you've talked about it, Spec, like they play a boring style of hockey. Like at some point, they might try to look and say, hey, we got Adrian Kempe. Adrian Kempe's a hell of a player, right? Quentin Byfield. Maybe we should try to be a little bit more dynamic, because what we're doing, all it does is lead us to first round losses. That's all it does.
Hey, here's what we know about LA in terms of regular season. The style that they play, it's become unique. No one else in the league lines up like they line up at center. And when your team rolls through there in December, and you played in San Jose 2 nights ago, you're playing in Anaheim the next night, you don't game plan for that nearly as much. Your coach spends 15 minutes on video. The team says, okay, we'll do the best here. We'll play our style. And LA has a huge advantage. And it's smart. They're good. And that style works on a one-off basis. That's why their regular season record, their home record, was the best in the league last year. And the environment for Darcy Kemper, you'd have to ask Woodley about this, but I'll bet you it was one of the best environments in hockey. So the point is, when they get to the playoffs and the other team really digs in on that thing, they pick it apart. The Oilers beat them 4 years in a row. So what I'm saying is, if they do change off of that, Jason, if they do open up and they don't have such a unique, goofy style that thwarts teams for one night in a row, it's going to be different there. Their home record won't be as strong. Darcy Kemper's environment won't be as good. It might help them come playoff time, but they're going to have to make the playoffs first.
Yeah. Mark Spector joins us. Spec to the Elks at home Sunday, early in the year. But, man, this is a huge opportunity for them. And it's one where I can't say it's a must-win game 4 games into the season. But, man, when you just look at where the organization's at and just the need for some positivity for the team, for the crowd, this is a big game that they got to show up.
Well, they do. And, big picture, Jason, they're in a real arm wrestle here with the Edmonton Riverhawks for your entertainment dollar here this summer, right? Like, it used to just be a given. The Oilers are number 1, the Elks are number 2, and whoever the baseball team in town is maybe number 3, and maybe the basketball team on a good day's in there too. But not anymore. Right? The Riverhawks drew 9,200 the other day. They're doing great. And the Elks have to give, Joe Fan a reason to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to go to that cute little ballpark in the River Valley and have so much fun where it doesn't really matter who wins. I'm going back to Commonwealth. I'm going to watch my football team again. And until they start winning, I'm not sure that they're going to convince the fan, because it's the same guy, isn't it, Jay? It's the same family going to CFL or going to the Riverhawks. They got to win that thing here because the Riverhawks are taking people out of their seats, and the only way they're going to do it is by winning some football games, and it better start soon.
Yeah, I would agree. They definitely need to win. There's lots of things I like what they're doing as an organization in the crowd and everything. I think that part's good. The kids running on the field, but ultimately what's going to push them, because we even saw it last year in the second half of the season when the Elks started winning games, man, they had 25, I think it was 28. Like they had fans, right? Because there's still, I think, a big football community in Edmonton. But, some of them are just kind of like, man, I don't want to go. Now, it would help if they had a few games where it doesn't rain, too. That would be nice. But I definitely think that you get a win, because if you win this Sunday, Spec, now the people are happy. You come in, you got BC next week. You beat them. Now you're ahead of the BC Lions, and suddenly you're moving up the standings. So it's a rare 2 weeks in a row at home, and you've just got to find a way to win. I don't care what they do, find a way to win.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, what were they? 0-9, 0-7. Now they're 0-3 the last 3 seasons. It really hurts when you start building momentum after you've lost the first half of the season, you're over. It just makes it so hard. They got to. The job of a CFL team in 2025, Jason, to be profitable, it's hard. I don't care who you are. It's hard. If you kick yourself in the rear end by starting 0 for whatever every year, it's almost impossible. They got to give themselves a chance, is what I'm saying. And I think let's hope for them. It starts against Ottawa. Ottawa is not a powerhouse, right? They're not Winnipeg, so if you can't beat the Winnipegs of the world, I get it. Well, you better start beating the Ottawas of the world then.
Yeah, no, very true. Spec, have yourself a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the Jays and the Elks and the barbecue. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Atta baby. Thanks, Jake.
There you go. That is Mark Spector. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. Lowetide returns on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use the promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. Use promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5.29. Positive Friday. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely Friday as you make your way home. Of course, big plans for the weekend. Lots going on. Indoors, outdoors, TV. You got the Jays on again. If you're a CFL fan tonight, Hamilton and Toronto, always a good rivalry. BC tomorrow, the Elks, and the Red Blacks on Sunday. The Stingers back in action. They're red hot. Winners of 6 of their last 7. And you got the Riverhawks on home tonight. Man, they had sold out stadium on Tuesday for Canada night. Unbelievable. Really good crowd the other night. And they're tonight and Saturday looking like doozy crowds as well. So it's in the river out. It's unbelievable. Just sit back on a nice evening. It's awesome stuff. So hope you enjoy it as we bring in the host of The Lowdown, noon to 2 weekdays here on Sports 1440. Also writes at The Athletic. Alan Mitchell, a.k.a. Lowetide. LT, how you doing?
I'm very well. Beautiful, beautiful afternoon. It's, I when it was like 30 the other day, I was running around. I had like 50,000 things to do. And man, I love Edmonton. I do. But it's really hot and you're getting in your car. And just when the AC starts to work again, you have to go to the next place. It was brutal. Today, beautiful. Love the weather today.
Also, I should mention this. For anybody northbound and southbound on Highway 21 at the Highway 14 bridge, it's closed. Somebody, a big truck struck the bridge.
Oh, no, damn.
So find an alternate route. It's closed. It'll be an absolute gong show out there. So Highway 21, Highway 14.
LT, does that change your plans for the night?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I was going to, I like to buy an ice cream cone and drive out into the country and eat it, but I won't. I'll tell you that we were talking about 3 weeks ago about the rat hole. And remember the trucks used to get stuck all the time? My God. And it would be like in rush hour and you're like, oh no, like the truck, I hope everybody's okay, but that's probably a little bit of a misstep there by Mr. Truck Driver there.
Yes, that's not good. Al, I had the question. I wrote the article today at OilersNation.com about the unique trend in the NHL the last few seasons, where in each of the last 3 years, a team that had 100 points the previous year missed the playoffs. Actually, 4 times in 23, 3 in 24, 3 in 25. Last year, the Rangers, Canucks, and Bruins all went from 114, 109 points to out of the playoffs. And they don't just miss the playoffs. These teams are going from a minimum 16-point decrease all the way up to a 33-point decrease. So a significant from one year to the next. And so that leaves 9 candidates for you, Al. Jets, Knights, Stars, Kings, Avs, and Oilers in the West, Tampa, Toronto, and Washington in the East. If you have to pick 3 teams out, doesn't mean just you got to pick 3. I need you to give me a reason why 3 of those 100-pointers from last year are going to miss the playoffs this coming season.
Damn, there's how many teams? 11?
9. Only 9. Jets, Golden Knights, Stars, Kings, Avalanche, Oilers in the West, Lightning, Capitals, and the Maple Leafs. You could, I guess I'll throw in Carolina because I'll give you 1 bonus point. They had 99. So
okay, and so we're picking teams that will finish with less than 100 points.
No, they'll go from 100 points last year to missing the playoffs this coming season.
Oh God, Gregor.
Well, hey, buddy, it's a trend that's happened now. Like good teams, the Rangers won the President's Trophy, dropped down almost 30 points to go out. The Bruins went from 109. You know, the Predators lost 31 points one year. So yeah, it's happened quite a bit. I'll
go Tampa Bay, LA, and damn it all.
I know you want to, Al. I know you want to.
Oh, come on. Toronto's not that bad.
but you know, it's funny, Al. I know, but for the PDO crowd, how come the guys who pound PDO, how come they're like, hey, wait a sec, the Leafs, 3rd best PDO, and now they lost Mitch Marner, right? They got goalies with health injuries. Like, why are they better?
Well, they're not.
No.
They're not better, but it just feels like, piling on. I mean, one thing I'll say is, and I do believe that Tavares signing a value deal is a great deal, but somebody signing a value deal is one thing, but then you have to use it. And I like Nyes a lot, but now you're paying full bore. You're basically, the trade is a highly played Mitch Marner for a highly paid Matthew Nyes. So you didn't get to, it's not like that money went from Marner to Ehlers. You didn't add, you didn't add that guy. And I mean, LA, I think is easy because they signed a lot of old guys and old guys get hurt. Toronto's a little less easy to do. They were plus 37 last year in terms of goal share. That's not massive. Yeah, okay, I'll go with them. I'll go Toronto, Los Angeles, and Tampa Bay. And Declan he can't key my car on Monday because I said Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, it's an interesting one because it's hard to mentally wrap your head around 100-point teams missing the playoffs. And that's what intrigued me about it because there's been so many, 10 of them in the last 3 years alone. And that doesn't even include Nashville, who had 99 points and then plummeted to 68. So it's more regular than we think. And that's why when I'm going to make, like, I came across that, I'm like, well, when I make my picks this year, I really got to take that into account. Like, it might only be 2, but I don't think it's just going to suddenly be none, right? Like, it can't happen. It's just that, well, it can, of course, but it just seems like there's something to it when it's happening year after year.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say is that I do think that Oiler fans have this expectation that the Oilers, well, they'll make it, they'll finish high, they'll go to the finals, and they better win. But like these last 2 years that's a hell of it's really a massive accomplishment to make it a Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in time they are going to have a step back. For Oilers fans, hopefully it's after a Stanley Cup victory or two. But these things don't. The idea that you're like when I was growing up, the Canadians made it every year. So did Boston, Philadelphia, Buffalo. You could name like 7 of the teams that were going to make it. Of course, 16 made it out of 21. But now it's like, good teams are missing the playoffs. And, I mean, your point is well made. That's a lot, it seems like, to go from 100 points to missing the playoffs. That's dire. Of course, I think New York Rangers did it to themselves. I'll be honest. They've just been a train wreck. God, somebody should investigate.
Yeah, no, it's true. They had a lot of self-drama. Same with the Vancouver Canucks. No question about it. Al, quickly, your thoughts on Bowen Byram and how big of a price do you think a team should pay to get him?
Well, he's like, there's a lot of potential there, and there's a lot of future there, probably. And you know, we just had this with the Rangers. It happened with Carolina, the trade that they made. And if I'm trading for him, I just want to give up picks. I know you got to give a player probably, but I mean, what is reasonable? The package should be more than it is. Should you pay more than the Carolina Hurricanes did in the Rangers deal? Would more be required?
Yeah, that's a very valid point, right? Like that. Honestly, like, is he that much better than Keandre Miller? I'm not sure.
No, well, not proven.
Yeah.
Well, he's not proven to be, right?
Yeah.
And so you're buying potential, but man, that can look bad. You know, that's why I think picks are easier, because the GM's not as vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're pretty vulnerable if you give up an actual player who goes and scores a bunch of goals next year, or, you know, whatever, plays better defense on the other team. It's a risky play because he's not like, it's not like he's totally established, right? Like, it's not like he's there yet. Not really.
No, he isn't. He's a good player. I like him, but I don't know how good he is. And the Keandre Miller is a great, I think, a great recent example to look and say, okay, how much better is he? And so, you know, Carolina gave up a first that is top 10 protected, and then what? They gave up, I think, a second is what it was, if my memory is correct.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I believe that's right.
Yeah. So decent. Now the difference was the Rangers kind of wanted to trade him, right? Like they were open to it. They went and they got Gavrikov, whereas Buffalo's GM's already said, hey, anybody makes an offer sheet, I'm matching it. So, you know, don't waste your time. We'll match the offer sheet. They'd overpay him rather than go and get out some draft picks, because Buffalo doesn't need more draft picks. Buffalo needs some players to help them be competitive.
Yeah, and they've got their big problem is they draft players, they develop into really good players, and then they do trade them away, which is just the most nuttiest thing ever.
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing? But I mean, this is a guy who, like, if you're, you know, he's 24, and we know sometimes with defensemen, it takes a little while to mature. He's played 246 games. I would bet his future is going to be pretty substantial. He had a nice year, but you can't pay for him like he's a guy who's going to play a decade at a high level, because you don't know. He hasn't played 3 years in a row that you go, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
And so what are you going to pay for him? I'm not sure that I would pay a lot more than what the Hurricanes paid to the Rangers. And I do know that, like, this is a guy who's, you know, Byron's been in the league for, you know, 4 or 5 years now. But it took, you know, he was kind of up and down a little bit. He wasn't great when he came over from Colorado last year. He was really good this year. So, and he's 24, which is a great age to get a guy, totally. But that's not, you know, like, if the expensive years are just ahead on his contract.
Yeah. Al, your thoughts for the Elks this weekend?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say guaranteed win, but this is, I mean, you've got to, like, everybody go to bed early the night before, get your rest, make sure, because I think this is I'm not convinced they're a totally bad football team, but they haven't shown it. So go out and, you know, do what Calgary did last night, man.
Yeah.
Just show the league. Yeah. Just show the league what you're at. You know, have a couple of ball hawks, intercept plays, run it back for a touchdown, big old celebration. Like, they've got to they got to go Duke LaLoosh here and announce their presence with authority. They got to be better. I know they're better. All those defensive players, they're way better than they've been.
Yeah, that you're right. They have not. It's not been a great start for the Elks defensively. It is early in the season, but it's early only for a bit longer. You know what I mean? Like, they're right on the cusp now. We're past the early part of the season here. They kind of got, okay, new coaching staff, new players, got to fit in. Give me everything you have to say. And some of it's probably true, but enough's enough now. You got to find a way to get some wins here, because if you win tonight or on Sunday, then you face BC and you'll have the identical record as the BC Lions in a home game and an opportunity to jump ahead of them and slowly climb your way out.
Yeah, and then, you know, like, you know, all you want to be is in the playoffs. And if you're the crossover, great, but that means you have to beat BC and, you know, a couple teams out east. So, you know, get your wins. It's not like you're, you know, 0-7 or 0-8, and then you're trying to get out of that slog. You win on the weekend, and now all of a sudden everything kind of resets. You go on a 2 or 3 game winning streak, and then maybe you beat a big club, maybe you beat a really good club here somewhere in the next few weeks, and start to believe in yourself. I see no reason for panic here, but man, you got to deliver against the Red Blacks, because that's an absolute cherry moment for the Elks.
Yeah. Al, have yourself a spectacular weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Yes, you too. Enjoy, boys.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, Monday to Friday on Sports 1440. We'll come back. Wanye's World when we return. Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. $60 million tonight in Lotto Max. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca.
Experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Don't miss the Sunday Showdown, July 6th at 4 p.m. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. Thestingers.ca.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Make sure to swing by Nisku Ford in July to take advantage of rates as low as 0%. Or choose rebates as high as $6,000 on 2025 models.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Stingray All Good Vibes on Prime Video offers you thousands of concerts, karaoke songs, and relaxing nature scenes on demand. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July the 2nd to the 11th.
Let's go, girls.
Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. Whew, big start for the Argos. The Boatmen are already up by a touchdown. They scored on their opening drive, and now Hamilton marching themselves. So could be a high-scoring Friday night in the CFL. I'd love like a good old-fashioned 42-38 kind of game. That'd be great for the Elks, I'll tell you that right now. See what happens. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor15. Get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. It's time to get to Wanye's World, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. You've been thinking about it. Get off the fence. Solar for your home or your business. ActionElectrical.net.
We were chatting at the break about some of the more fun Elks games we've been to in our lives. And for me, the standout one, we went to a Labor Day Classic in Calgary, and for whatever reason, the gods of marketing, it was powdered soup night. And all of us in attendance, as we were leaving the stadium, got a powdered chicken noodle soup. 50 feet later, we had all of them, ripped them open, and we were pelting each other with these chicken noodle soups. And there was like clouds of chicken noodle soup just gusting into the air like dust. Easily one of the more fun times I've ever had. Do you remember Elks games that led you to be the guy doing the Gridiron Show later? Like, was there seminal games you went to where you're like, this is awesome, I'm down?
Well, some of my first memories actually when I worked there selling ice cream.
What?
As young. I think I was 14. I had to be 14. So I was 14 and I worked at the games, and it was a good exercise. You're walking up and down, and I would hustle pretty hard in the first half, and then I would kind of sit and find a seat so I could watch most of the game in the second half, because I was a huge sports fan, and then I'd get up every now and then. I didn't care about making that much money.
Were you melting while you were sitting? Like, was your ice cream melting?
Well, no, because I'd sit at the top. Well, the ice cream came, like I had like the cooler that you had to carry. And then if you sat at the top of the section, right, because the overhang, then there was the shade. So you could sit in there, and I wasn't sitting for the whole time, of course, but I would definitely look and watch. And I was the guy, like the minute the play was on, usually I would just sit down in the stairs and watch the game, because you don't want to be the person standing up, right? The only thing I remember was like, hey, ice cream, and there'd always be some drunk guy, ice cream. We all scream for ice cream. I'd be like, God, I wish I could just whip an ice cream out. I'm like, I would always like, yeah, I never heard that one before. Like, come on, dude. And then when we were young adults, the north end zone, man, like up top there, was like the biggest bar in the city.
Underneath the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah. It was and it was packed, and like you'd meet people there all the time that you knew, and we had a great time. I love standing on the rail watching those games. So that's what I remember probably as a young guy, going with my buddies, and we had a great time on Friday. Race your beer cups down. Beer obviously was cheap, but the games were entertaining, right? And you had a good view, like especially when the play was coming towards you. It was a perfect vantage point to watch the game. So, it was. I always felt the Elks have been fun. My son now, he loves going to the games, more so because and it's something that I could see why. Because you used to vision yourself. Oh yeah, I want to run on the field. Well, nowadays the kids get to go on the field after the game, and it is as much as he likes the game. He's a big fan of Trey Ford. He looks forward, and so we take a different buddy every game. And then kids they're running up and down. They're playing in their head. They pick a receiver, quarterback, they pass it to each other, and they love it. It's 15, 20 minutes, and it gets people to stay. Because I know for me, some days, it's a blow. He's like, no, we're not leaving, Dad. I want to go on the field. All right. So that part's great. And I can see it gets him to the game. And now him and his buddies in the neighborhood, they're playing way more football, I think, because they go on the field. They got the little football, and they play catch on there. And then now they bring it home, and now they're playing. And that's how you build fans, when you get them at a young age and you keep them there. And they're getting there. They got to, try to get that 18 to 30-year-old range, which I think Elks Nation will help them for sure. But and obviously winning helps. There's no question about it.
No doubt.
Right? Like when Trey Ford making great plays last year down the stretch, like my son talked about it. He's like, Dad, you remember this play? Remember that play? Like, because Trey Ford is like Gizmo Williams. Gizmo Williams, you think about it, he had 26 return touchdowns. But every time they punted the ball, like I still remember, you'd watch the end zone. Oh, they punted? Okay, let's everybody focus.
I never enchanted Gizmo.
Yeah, like Giz could make a play, and that was very unique.
I can remember seeing Gizmo live touchdowns in the end zone. Like, that was mind-blowing to a little kid.
Yeah.
There's something about the Commonwealth Lights that it just seems big league when you're there. Like, it strikes me as a big league event. They just need to do a little bit more work on their in-game experience.
Yeah, and I think it's coming. I think they're getting better at it for sure, but it's a work in progress. And the good news is it's there. Andrew, hey boys, congestion wasn't bad. It's still closed though. So slow going at Highway 14 and Highway 21, just east of Edmonton. Somebody ran into the bridge, so that's unfortunate. So if you want to find alternate routes, especially if you're on Highway 21, so be prepared for some slow going over there. That's never great at all. So have yourselves a great weekend, and you got the Elks. Of course, we'll have that means the Elks are on Sunday, so you have a new Elks Nation coming out on Monday with Declan and Eddie Steele. Of course, we'll have wall-to-wall coverage here on Sports 1440, talking about a weekend in sports. Can the Jays keep rolling? Will there be a trade in the NHL? Will the Oilers have their coaching staff announced? I think it'll probably take a little bit longer, but that is the next big step, I think, for Edmonton to fill out their coaching staff. Have yourselves a great weekend, everyone. Please do not drink and drive. Don't weed and drive. Get home safe and sound. On behalf of Declan Cougar, Wanye Gretz, I'm Jason Gregor. Be safe. And, of course, from Josh Fenwick, running things at Oilers Nation. Have yourselves a great weekend. Let's get to Declan Cougar Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. So the rates never change. That's how you build a legacy. No overtime, weekends, or late at night. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And one final time from me this evening, CFL action, 8:17 to go in the first quarter. Hamilton and Toronto all tied at 7. Jays in action right now as well. They're tied 0-0 with the Angels in the bottom of the third. Other games in the majors see the Rangers leading the Padres 2-1, Guardians leading the Tigers 1-0, and the Orioles and the Braves tied at 0. NHL news is after 9 seasons in the NHL, forward Christian Fischer has announced he is retired from professional hockey at the age of 28. WNBA news is Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark will miss her 5th straight game with a left groin injury. Riverhawks will be in action tonight at Remax Field against Nanaimo, 7:05 first pitch for that one. Sunday action in the Edmonton Sporting World as the Stingers play host to the Calgary Surge at 4. They won't play at home again until August 1st. And the Edmonton Elks will host the Ottawa Red Blacks at 5 p.m. That's going to do it for us here on the show. On behalf of Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Josh Fenwick, Connor Halley, I am Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR